Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. Episode 0, Part 2. And Part 1, we watched the table slowly create what I think is a pretty damn cool setting for our heroes. They created the city of New Eden. We populated it. We got a sense of some of the conflicts, some of the main drivers and characters that are in this city. For Part 2, we need to make heroes. And we're going to do that using Sentinels this time, which is the game we're ultimately going to be playing. Sentinel Comics is made by the same people that put out the Sentinel Multiverse card game, which of course is very, very popular. I have been on a search for great superhero RPG, and I've played a lot of them, and I have bought a lot of them. In my opinion, I think Sentinel Comics is the best supers RPG for me. It emulates the genre very well. The mechanics hold up the type of play that I'm looking for. And I will say this definitively, I think it has the best quote unquote random character generator out there. And we're going to be doing that. It's going to be using their what they call the guided method, which is rolling dice and making choices. But what's amazing about it is, unlike some random creations out there for supers, you end up with like this wonky character that you have to try to work out. I think you'll find that what we see is we see a character start to form over time as we continue down this guided method, and we end up with something pretty cool at the end. So let's find out what four heroes are going to be protecting New Eden on the other side of the intro. All right. Let's make some characters. Now, one of the things that I talked to everybody about before we went live is that I really want this to not only us making our own characters, but us talking to each other as we do this. I'm a firm believer that in character creation at the table versus people making their characters and bring them to the table, because I think it allows the team to form as you're making characters together. You're able to talk through things, and that's kind of like what I want to do here. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to figure out what the background of our heroes are. So when we look at backgrounds, we're going to take 2d10. So we're going to take two 10-sided die and we're going to roll them, and I'm going to walk through what those choices are. So Dika, let's start with you. If you can give me 2d10. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to end up is with three numbers. So, or in your case, two. So she rolled an 8 and an 8. And so her choices are between 8 and 16. So if those numbers were different, which we'll see probably when we get to Z, she would end up with three choices. So you're going to be thinking about either a tragic background, Dika, or a former villain background. That's interesting. So take a look at those two and start thinking about it. Z, let's get your two numbers.
All right, let's get going.
So 2d10.
That's a
all right,
3 and a 6.
A 3, 6, and a 9. So you're looking at struggling, law enforcement, or performer.
Well,
Dan, what are your numbers? Let's get 2d10. A 4, 8, and a 12. So you're looking at adventurer, tragic, or criminal background. Very interesting. Lou's got a 1, 2, and a 3. Super simple, Lou. Upper class, blank slate, or struggling. So what are we thinking?
It is very difficult to not pick struggling when I see it. I'm just so drawn to it, but I did not realize performers on there, which also sounds like a hilarious class or I should say background for a superhero
I agree.
because you want to be in the spotlight, just not when you're, out and about. So,
And you'll notice, Z, when we go look, if you go look at performer, it can be any type of performer, right? Stand-up
mhm.
comedian, singer, actor, and anything. But basically, you're right. I like to perform.
Yeah, maybe I'll run a TRPG channel on Twitch. I'll call it something like, I don't know, Fourth Floor Wars.
Fourth floor piece. All
Ooh.
right. So sounds like you're leaning performer. Dika, where are you leaning?
Okay, so I love a tragic superhero, but I'm kind of digging the former villain.
I don't know how you don't pick that. I think that's
Right?
amazing.
That's it. It makes it. I think I want to see what everyone else picks, but I'm leaning toward the former villain.
I can
I knew
definitely
it.
see that.
Knew it.
Dan?
Oh my God, Lou!
No, it.
It was you. Dan, where are you leaning?
Well, between tragic and criminal, maybe.
Surrounded by criminals.
Now
Mm.
that's a formal villain. So are we like all ex-cons or
I don't know. Lou, where are
With
you?
someone? All,
I
law
am
enforcement?
absolutely upper class.
Ooh.
I was born in the upper echelon of high society. Likely, I'm also pretty rich.
All right, Bruce Wayne. I'm with you. All right. So, Dan, I think you're the one that hasn't finalized. So, what are you going to finalize?
Z, what did you pick?
I think I'm gonna go for performer, born for the stage. How you present
Performer.
yourself to the world is important to you, whether in or out of the limelight. That's just
All right. I'm going to give
I
you a
help
couple more
myself.
minutes, Dan. I'm going to go to Dika. All right, Dika. So, you chose former villain. So, let's take a
Yeah.
look. You have 3 qualities that you can choose from. And you're going to pick 2 of them. One you're going to give a D10 to, and one a D8. You've got conviction, any one of the information qualities, or any of the social qualities. So think through that and decide what you want there. Let's take a look at performer.
Yes, please.
Right, performer. You are looking to assign a D10 and a D8, and you're looking at 2 of either acrobatics, creativity, finesse, or a social quality. Any of the social qualities.
quality. Okay, I'm gonna have to have a closer look at those. But
Yeah.
I know I'm already gonna throw a 10 at creativity.
Oh,
That's just calls out to me.
I could definitely see that. All right, so let's go now to Lou. You went with upper class, right? So you've got a D10 and a D8 for finesse, persuasion, or a mental quality. Have you made any decisions there?
Yes.
What are you
Persuasion
doing?
is always fun.
Okay.
I would like to talk my way out of things, and I'm going to go with a mental quality. So I don't
Which
know.
No, no. All right, look through the
I
mental
gotta pick one of
qualities.
those.
What are you thinking, Dan?
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with tragic.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so for tragic, you've got a D10 and a D8, and you're going to go with banter, close combat, imposing, or a mental quality. So that is super interesting. All right, I'm going to go back to former villain, and let's get an update on Dika. Dika, where did you end up?
I am going to do a 10 for conviction and an 8 for information.
Beautiful. So if you want to add that to your character sheet, under qualities, on the quick add. Got it?
Yep, I got it.
All right, cool. All right. Z, where did we decide?
Well, we're deciding for the creativity and an 8 into a 10 creativity and 8 in social. I'm just trying to now find in this massive document. It is a tome, right?
It is.
It is a tome. I'm trying to find the social details so I can pick something from there.
Gotcha.
It's just I don't
Let me see
find
if I can
them.
help you. Hold on one second. So if you go to qualities explained in my handouts that I gave you, I
Oh, the
think it'll have it there for you.
qualities explained in the handout. All right. Thank you. I'll
You're
have to
welcome.
have a look.
Lou, what are we thinking? Oh, can't hear you, boss.
I'm in the same spot as Z. I'm in the qualities explained, trying to find mental. So,
Excellent.
let's see.
Dan?
Same thing.
Mental.
Just
Here we go.
want to see the definition of the. What?
So what's cool about this is that when they're building their die pool, they're going to be building a 3 die pool. They're going to pick a power every time they want to do something, a quality, which is think of it like a skill or an expertise, and then a status die. So in this case, they're picking 2 qualities. What are 2 skills or aspects of their characters that are important? And they're assigning a die size to it, a D10 and a D8. The D10 will be a bigger part of who they are or what they're better at than whatever they choose for their D8. So the decision does matter here.
Yeah. I'm really having a hard time picking in the social category between a banter, which is having a gift for gab that sometimes can be used to annoy your enemies, or friends, which is just again calls out to me. But I also like things like leadership you can lead and direct your allies effectively to,
Well, so let's talk a little bit because
Yeah.
that is now starting to direct you from a team perspective, right?
Exactly.
So as we start thinking about the team, is that something that you would potentially want to be as one with not necessarily the leader of the team, but one that
No.
is more of a leadership person?
Well, no, I don't. That's a good question. What are the others thinking? There's also things like insight to read people, or being imposing to make yourself intimidating, or simply things like persuasion to convince
Mhm.
others. I mean, banter sounds fun to me, but I'm already annoying enough in real life. So
You want to actually role play?
yeah, roleplay would be something nice for a change.
Dika, what are you looking at?
For myself, so what I picked was criminal underworld information.
Ooh, very nice.
My information.
Beautiful.
Fits.
Definitely fits. Definitely fits. All right. So if we take a look at Dika, so you're going D10 conviction and then D8 criminal and underworld info. I think those are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So Dika, while they are finishing out looking at their stuff, let's take a little bit further for decision making on you. So the next thing you need to do is choose an expertise principle. At the end of character creation, you're going to end up having 2 principles, which are kind of your guiding lights, the main drivers for you. These principles are going to give you role-playing cues. They're going to give me some potential snags that I can throw your way that will challenge those principles. And they'll also give you a green power that allows you to overcome based on your principles. So for the former villain, you're going to go to the expertise list, and you're going to pick one of those expertise principles.
Just one?
Well, you're going to end up with 2, but this is the one from now. Plus, we still have the retcon as well. All right, who's finalized some decisions?
I think I'm going to try the leadership one.
Love it.
I think I'm going to try my best to. I mean, I can still be annoying, right? Nothing stopping me from that.
So looking at it, it looks like you did your D10 in creativity and D8 in leadership. Excellent.
Yes, correct.
Excellent. Where are you, Lou?
I already picked persuasion, so that's going to be my D8. And then with my mental, I chose conviction, which, I mean, you get to choose which cause, burns inside of you that is going to cause you to drive you to great heights. So that's going to be my D10. I just don't know what that conviction is yet.
All right, so D10, I'm going ahead and upping your sheet for you.
Sure.
All right, so D8 persuasion, D10 and conviction. Talk to me, Dan.
Well, I also picked conviction at
Love it.
D10 and imposing at D8.
Very nice. Very, very nice. All right, so let's take a look at performer real quick. So Z, you need to start looking at the responsibility principles and
Yes.
deciding which of those is going to be yours, which interestingly enough ties to the leadership a little bit now, doesn't it?
It does, and now I'm looking at those. I mean, I made a character with Craig and a few others before, and it was a lot of fun. And the choices are hard because they're
Yeah.
all good. So I'm just give me a second here to like look
Take
over
your
them real quick
time.
again,
Yeah,
and then I'll pick you
let's look
some.
at tragic. So we've picked our two ideas. You have an ideals principle. So have you found them to start paging through those?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. And then Lou, what is the principles that you have to choose from?
Upper class also chooses responsibility.
Nice. So as you start narrowing it down, let's discuss them as a group because we don't want too much overlap, right? But we also don't want too much conflict in our principles either, I think.
Okay.
So as you're seeing ones that are interesting, let us know. So they're choosing a principle very early on, and they're doing it during the background stage. So in its own weird way, this is basically them knowing, hey, based on who I am before I was a hero, or when I didn't have my mask on, that's kind of what the stage they're in right now. They don't know their archetype yet, their powers yet, or anything. So they're kind of picking a principle based off of who their alter ego is going to be. And then at the end of this process, they're going to pick their second guiding principle, and they're going to know who their character is from a power and archetype and everything, and all of their powers and stuff. So that kind of leans more towards who they are as a hero, which I think is neat.
And they come with twists.
They do. The twists are my favorite part. So
Of course.
So I'm gonna my responsibility. I'm gonna go full in team. So there's one called Principal of the Team.
Perfect.
Oh.
And it sounds like we're getting a leader. So I will not be the leader, but it says my heroic team takes up a large portion of my life, and I have an official position in the team. So I figure with my money, I'm probably the procurement guy. I'm the guy that pays people off, for things that we do
like
or
that.
we have to get places. So,
if you guys have an HQ, it's probably one that you're paying the rent on.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool.
So I'm the money guy for the team.
So can you read off the role playing cues as well as the twists?
Sure. So during the role playing, your heroic team takes up a significant portion of your life. I have an official position. Civilian authorities will recognize your status in the team.
Nice.
So I'm known because again I'm paying everybody. My minor twist: what embarrassment did you just cause as a representative of your team? And the major twist is what major sanctions will you suffer as a result of your actions?
So what'll happen during play is that I might have an opportunity as a game master to give Lou's character a minor twist or a major twist. And there's a lot of generic ones that I can give, but I could also tap into either a minor or a major twist for the character specific. And what's neat is it's a question that Lou has to answer for the character. And then we'll decide what the ramifications are there. All right. So we've got Lou has finalized everything. And then Lou, you're going to have another set of dice. So just make sure you jot down what those dice are. So when you're ready to roll them for the next phase, we can
another 2d10, correct?
I don't know. It'll say at the very bottom so if you go after expertise, it'll tell you what dice you're going to be using for the next step.
Sure.
Part of me was
final. Go ahead,
right.
Z.
Part of me was thinking the principle of business, but then I hear the idea of having someone who procures who has resources already. So I think I will go for the principle of the mask, which makes a little bit sense as a performer, maybe in a sense that it's vitally important that I hide my true identity and that I have a career that allows me to slip between identities when necessary. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. But the twists, I'm going to be really interested in what you're going to do with those.
What are they?
The minor twist is what clue about your real identity did you leave behind? And major twist, who from your civilian life is now in imminent danger?
Oh, those are both good.
Yeah,
Those are
I'm gonna be hurting.
Good. And make sure you should also be adding it to your green abilities. You're going to get a green ability that's the principle of whatever. So
Gotcha.
as you go through the green abilities, you'll notice that there as well. Dika, what are you thinking as far as principles?
Okay,
My
I'm
former
between
villain.
I'm between two. So I like the principle of stealth. And my second one that I think I'm more so leaning toward is the principle of whispers.
Ooh, what is that?
So
Oh,
that one is so during role play, you hear a voice in your head that no one else hears. The voice tells you things to do, which might be true or false, but the voice certainly seems to know a lot.
Is it called Craig?
Craig looks like he's gonna have so much fun.
We have the
with
unstable villain on our team. This is great.
I am not a villain.
former villain.
Former.
Excuse me.
Former.
This
Yes.
voice says I'm not a villain.
So wait, so I'm
I'm
familiar
gonna
with
take
this.
whispers.
You have to. You've got to tell everybody the minor
Yeah.
and major twists because they're amazing.
Okay, minor twist. How did the voice in your head just distract you? Major twist. What is the voice demanding of you now?
Oh my god.
All right, Dan, where did you end up?
Well, I'm hesitating between principle of justice and
Ooh.
principle of the zealot.
Oh, of the zealot. Very nice.
Zealot, yeah.
So let's
but
talk
is it
about that from
too
a team
much?
perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
is
So
it
what are we
too
thinking
much?
there? Does anybody have any thoughts for Dan between and not even knowing what they are exactly, just the names, right? Justice
Yeah.
or zealot?
I like immediately to mind comes justice. To have somebody who's our moral guiding stone, guiding post, because so far we don't have a lot of that yet. So somebody who
Oh,
basically keeps us a little bit more on like task and focus and do what's right is just what comes to mind.
Money can
Where
buy you
zealot just
morals.
goes past that, where
I
it
like
becomes
that.
already too much, right?
Oh, I like that.
Overgrade.
Okay.
I
Justice.
agree with you, Z. I love the idea of a moral center, right? And it's possible that Dan's character could unfold that way. So, looking at justice, Dan, what are the role playing cues and what are the minor and major twists?
Role playing, you are always aware of acts of injustice in your environment and those who have committed them.
And the minor and major twist?
Minor twist is how are you taking extra time to show yourself as a shining example of justice?
Captain America.
Major twist, how do you unnerve your allies in a single-minded pursuit of justice?
Oh,
my
this is
god.
gonna
Yes.
be good.
Speech!
Yeah.
Yes. This
We
is gonna
can't
be
save
so-
everyone.
Oh, this is gonna be so good.
Yes, we can.
Oh my god, this is going to be so good. All right,
Oh my
so
God.
we've chosen our principle. Now at the
Uh,
bottom, it's going to tell you which 3 dice that you are going to have access to for your power source, and you're going to want to remember what those 3 die are because you're going to be assigning those die to different powers, right? So let's start off with Dika. Dika, what are your
Okay.
3 die?
I have a D10 and 2 D8s.
All right, let's roll them and let's see what our numbers are going to be. You're going to end up with 6 numbers to pick from. So there's 20 total power sources.
Okay, so I have a
All right, so we've got we got 10, 8, and 3. So we've got 3 is genetic. This is going to be what is the source of you being powered, right? 8 is powered suit. You have 10, which is tech upgrades. And now we add them together. So you also have 11 supernatural. That's 8 plus 3. You also have 13, which is the 3 plus the 10, which is cursed. Uh-oh. And we have 18, which is unknown.
Unknown.
So that's all kinds of choices there, Dika, for our former villain. Z, what are your 3 numbers?
I got the 10, the 8, and the 6.
Ooh, let's take a
So
look.
sorry, those are the dice that I roll, the D10, the D8, and the 6, which is apparently a 2 and a 1 and a 1.
Okay. So you have 1, 2, and 3. So you
You know
pulled a
what?
Lou.
That's it works.
You've got accident,
Mhm.
training, which is interesting because that means that all of your powers are because of training, not because
Mhm.
of some sort of thing, or genetic. So even though you've
Yeah.
pretty limited, but you still got some good choices in there.
I mean, classic podcasting accident, right?
That happens all the time to
All the
performers.
time. It's a dangerous profession. People should
Is the
not.
mic hits you in the upper lip?
Yes. Make sure
Worst.
to become a patron to help with the medical bills.
Lou, what are your 3 dice?
I have a D10, a D8, and a D8.
All right, let's take a look. Okay. Oh, you rolled a 10, a 2, and a 5. So 2 is training. 5 is mystical. Next will be 7, which is the 5 plus 2, which is relic, which means it's an object that's giving you your powers. After that, we've got 10, which is tech upgrades. Bruce Wayne. We've got
money.
Artificial being at 12. And then at 15, we have genius.
Oh. I too want to role play, so I'm not going to play genius.
That's good. That's very good if you were.
Very good.
Thank you, Lou.
All right.
All right, let me
Dan,
decide.
Let's get yours, Dan. Let's get what are your 3 die?
2d10 and a d6. Just a sec. I have too many. Okay, 2d10 and a d6.
All right,
And
so we've got a 2, a 7, and an 8. So your 2 is training.
2, 7, and 8.
7 is relic. 8 is powered suit. And this is why we need to talk through this, right? To make sure we don't have overlap. I would like
Yeah.
everybody to have a different power source.
Yes.
And then after that, we've got the 7 plus 2, which is 9, which is radiation. And the 8 plus 2, which gives us 10, which is tech upgrades. So as the 4 of you are looking these over, let's start talking through where you're leaning.
Does anybody have a strong pull towards training? I forgot who else got training because I was reading mine.
I got it.
A lot of us got training, yeah.
Okay, a lot of us got training. Okay.
Are either Dan and Lou, are you leaning towards training, or do we want to give that to
I was
Z?
looking at training and
Okay.
tech upgrades because they both have like gadgets and signature vehicle but yeah, Z, if you
I could go for accident. That's why I was asking if anybody has training and feels training is fitting for where they want to go with their character. I could go for accident. It's like Chad said, bitten by a radioactive streamer. And that'll do it. That'll do it.
So, I'll take training if you're willing to give it up because that sounds like my guy that I can buy all.
All right, so
things.
Lou's going training. Z, does that put you at accident? You're thinking?
I think so because I can see genetic. Genetic is just not. I'm not vibing with that.
Yeah.
So I think it has to be accident.
Dan and Dika, what are we thinking?
Okay. I'm between cursed and unknown.
What's unknown?
Unknown means
Exactly.
she does not know the source of her
Oh.
powers.
Ooh.
Yes. It only
jealous.
gives me like 2. I only get powers in the yellow. I get to pick 2 yellow powers. So I don't know.
What feels better? So, Dika, do you like the idea of some sort of curse was put upon you and gave you powers as a result? Or do you like the idea of and you obviously will figure out what this means, but somehow you suddenly were powered and you have no idea why? What is more appealing to you?
I think I like because especially being a former villain and what I'm thinking, the problem is I can go either way. But I'm leaning more toward unknown.
Do it. Grab it. Dan, where are you leaning?
Radiation. Well, I'm still trying to figure out tragic, and so maybe radiation could work.
And think about it. Tragic is tied to your alter ego, and obviously having a through line to your power source is good, but not required, right? So I would definitely let it flow. Let's go to accident with you
Mm-hmm.
real quick. All right,
Let's go
so
to the accident.
let's go to the accident. So you have got 3 dice. You're going to assign all those dice you rolled at the end of the background step to any of the following powers. You get to select from the athletic power category, from the elemental energy power category, intellectual powers, material powers, psychic powers, and self-control. So you're
Mhm.
going to get a chance to Z to pick 3 powers.
Okay. I probably will go for the self-control. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of choices there. Ton of choices there.
Oh, those are very interesting. They're not as I don't know, I guess mental as I would thought they would be. That's interesting.
All right.
This
Lou, you ended up with training, right?
Yes.
All right. So where does that put you?
So I'm gonna pick an intellectual power with my D10, because I'm smart and all.
Yep. So you got intellectual, you got or athletic. You can get a signature weapon, a signature vehicle, or pick gadgets.
So yeah, I'm gonna pick gadgets
Nice.
and athletic.
Beautiful. So you're going to get 3 of them, right? Because you rolled
Yep.
3 dice. Excellent. 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 All right. We'll be back to check in on you. Dan, you ended up going which way? You ended up going with radiation. So your choices are nuclear, signature vehicle, signature weaponry, an athletic, a self-control, or a technological power. But you are going to all of your dice. So you are also picking 3 powers. And then Dika with unknown.
I'm picking 3.
You are picking 3 from elemental energy, intellectual materials, self-control, and technological. So here's where I want us to really have some discussions now, because we're getting much farther into defining our characters, right? And our power sets at this point. So as the 4 of you are looking through these, talk about what you're leaning towards so that we can get some feedback from the group on what our thoughts are.
Okay.
Well, nuclear in my case, for sure.
Okay.
Yep. With a radiation power source and nuclear power, I like it.
I have literally bought myself into superhero status.
Yes.
We all know the story. We have countless comic book characters that money, gadgets, smart, and a good physique. I'm going with it. That's what I'm going with.
So have you already picked all 3 of your powers?
No, but
Oh, okay.
I'm right there. That's
just
so everyone knows. We can't all be like, nice, just in a towel, right? Like we all can't.
Amy in the chat goes, Tony Stark all day. Dika, where are you leaning?
So at least for one of my powers, I want to pick awareness. Ooh. If no one else is thinking about it.
I'm not.
Nope, I'm not.
Excellent. Our scout, our person who's always knowing what's happening everywhere at all times.
Yeah. While talking about our scout that knows what happens, I'm very much leaning towards psychic, but I would love some feedback on that one, because there are a few that I think would work well with the group. When we're saying somebody already is the scout of the group, there is remote viewing where you can project your senses and view another place at the same time. Wow. Which is, I would almost say OP, right? But that's superheroes.
Yeah.
But there's also post-cognition and precognition. So I'm not a fan of suggestions or mind control of any sort. There's also telepathy. So I'm really struggling to pick one of these ones. Maybe I'll listen to chat.
Well, hold on. Let me bring it up. You chose leadership.
Oh, yeah.
Does leadership tie to telepathy?
Oh, you're a Jean Grey.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Something to think about, right?
Something
to think about. Who else is getting closer? Dika, looks like you're getting closer.
Oh, wait. Come back.
All right, I will. Lou, what are you looking at?
I blame the chat for Tony Stark in my head now. So I chose my intellectual as presence, which says
Ooh.
you project your personality strongly over those you meet.
Very
So
nice.
I'm playing games with people so far.
All right, so presence is one of them.
Yeah.
Telepathy. You can send thoughts as well as read minds. I don't know how I feel about the read minds.
But that's your choice, right? See, you can make that not
Yeah.
part of your power set if you
It's
don't
a
feel
good
comfortable with it.
power. It's just the idea to read minds.
All right. So
I don't know if I
here,
would use that for other players, right? So,
right, and here's the other thing I'll throw at you.
mhm.
You enjoy complicated characters. So now I'm going to propose to you, what if your character has that power but hates to use it, and only in the most extreme circumstances would you ever do anything like that? That could be a very interesting role play opportunity for
I'm going to go ahead then. You sold me.
you.
You are a salesman, after all. You got me there. Telepathy it is.
I think that's super interesting, Z. Super interesting.
That'd be cool.
Dan, where are we?
I'm thinking, but already picked nuclear. I'm thinking absorption.
Absorption's so cool.
Absorption, maybe D10. And for the other, I'm not sure. Did someone pick something like strength?
Mm-mm.
Well, I just picked my third, which is vitality. It's not strength.
No, that's
It
two
just-
very different things. Yeah.
Yes, two different things.
And what
I'm
that'll
gonna
put,
go with strength, I think.
love that, Dan. Now we've got our tank, right? Every superhero team needs our super strong. So I love that idea.
Well, D6 strength. I don't know how strong that is, but
So that's a great point, Dan. So one of the things that when they have 3 dice to choose from, right? So as they're picking their powers, they're assigning die to those powers. And again, those die size, they're not specific like some games. Like Dan choosing D6 doesn't mean he can lift only so much, right? But what it does do is give us a sense of just how strong Dan is. Is Dan Spider-Man strong or Hulk strong? And that's the difference between a D12 and a D6, right? Or even a Captain America strong is probably like a D6, which is above human. But we don't think of Captain America. We think of Captain America being stronger than a normal person, but he's not Spider-Man. He's not Thor, right? Which is, again, what's neat about that is that mechanically these dice matter, but it also really matters as far as us understanding the character themselves.
Mhm.
All right, who's closer to having all 3?
All 3? You mean the abilities?
So yeah, who's assigned all 3 of their powers?
Oh.
I did.
All right, so
I
Lou,
felt
what's the final answer, Lou?
So the D10 is going to be my presence. Again, I'm going to just use my charm and being who I am as my D10. D8 is going to be my gadgets. I got some
Love
good
it.
gadgets. And my other D8 is my vitality. So I am in great shape. My character is in great shape.
All right, so what's next for you, Lou, is that you get to pick up 2 yellow abilities. Now, abilities are basically rule breakers, right? These are special things that your character can do that are outside of the normal rules. You're a little bit better at something than a hero otherwise would be. Yellow tells us this is going to be after you've either been beat up a little bit, that can get you to yellow, or midway into the scene, right? So we're not at the climax, at the final cliffhanger, like, are we going to pull this off point in red? But we're not at the beginning where the conflict just started. So you need to pick 2 of these. You've got always be prepared, reactive field, and flowing fight. What are you leaning towards, Lou? That's interesting.
So I did already look at these when I was going, and I kind of figured my character out.
Let's do it.
I'm going to go with reactive field. I figure
All right.
I know some kind of martial art, and I'm good at defense, and I'm going to deflect blows. But then I can also return them. So I'm going to go with flowing fight as my other power.
Very nice. So you have to assign a power to that flowing fight. So of the 3 powers you've picked, which power is going to be the driver behind your flowing fight?
So I'm going to say it's vitality.
Ooh, so you attack with your vitality,
Yes.
and use your mid die to attack 1 extra target for each bonus. You have apply a different bonus to each attack. That's very nice. So because you are so healthy and so in shape, you're able to attack multiple characters with this flowing fight. I think that's very cool. All right.
Um,
So the next thing is when you move to the next step, select an extra quality from the archetype list at a D8. So keep a note of that, Lou. You're going to get
Okay.
an extra quality, a D8 quality.
okay,
All
I
right.
think I'm a little bit lost
All right.
uh,
Let's walk through it, Z. So
about the
you're genetic.
dice. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk.
No, sorry, I'm not genetic. I'm accident.
Oh,
I'm
you're accident. I'm sorry. It's my
Yes.
fault.
No, all
All right.
good.
So
All good.
accident.
Yes, correct. So I pick that as a power source.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to the accident entry. I select a psychic power, which is going to be the telepathy.
Yep.
What else on that sheet do I do then? Just real
Okay.
quick.
So
The
you
abilities. I
get
see 2 yellow abilities and 1 green ability.
yeah. So don't worry about those yet. Let's pick
Okay.
our powers first. So
Right.
you rolled 3 dice
Yes.
for your power sources. So we've picked telepathy as 1. We need to pick 2 more. So what are the other 2 powers you're going to pick from that list under accident?
Oh, under lists. I rolled a 1 and a 1 and a 2. So what does that?
No, now we're
Oh,
looking only
sorry,
concerned
a
about
D10,
die
a D8, and D6. Right.
Exactly.
And I get 3. Oh, I misunderstood that. Thank
That's okay.
you.
That's okay. Yep. So you're picking 3 total powers. You've already picked one of the psychic. So take a
Right.
look at self-control, materials, intellectual, elemental energy, and athletic.
Right.
And
Okay.
then
Thank
decide
you.
what your other 2 are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you've got 2 D10 and a D8, you said, Z?
Yes, a D10
So
and a D8.
yeah, so you,
And a
between the
D6.
3, which one is pretty powerful? D8's pretty damn good, but D10 is really good. So
Yeah.
what are going to be your 2 dominant powers here at this point?
All right. I will pick
Dika,
them in a second.
you went with unknown.
Yes.
So have we made some final decisions?
Yes, and I for my last power, I want to kind of X the group. So for my second power, so I assigned awareness a D10. I have a
Nice.
D8 for transmutation. Because I just thought that was cool.
It is.
And now I'm in like the self-control category, which would be my secondary D10. Sorry, D8. But I am stuck between absorption and tangibility, so I can pass through solid objects, and invisibility.
Ooh.
Which
Well, I have absorption.
okay, I will take that one out then.
So are you thinking more invisible or intangibility?
I think because walking through solid objects is pretty awesome, but with transmutation, like it might be able to play off one another. So I'll do invisibility.
Love it.
Invisibility.
Love it. So that's going to be your D8 as invisibility.
Yes.
All right.
Now
So
I have mine. So
if we go on page 69 under unknown, now that you've picked
Mhm.
your 3 and you've assigned your die types, you get to pick 2 yellow abilities. And again, these are things that you're good at and that are going to be tied to these powers. 2 of them are attacks, one is a reaction. You've got brainstorm, strange enhancement, and volatile creations.
The last 2.
The last 2. So for strange enhancement, boost all nearby allies using a power, which we'll talk about in a second, using your max and min die. Holy crap. And hinder yourself with your min die. Oh, that's super interesting. So you're giving up, you're hindering yourself to enhance your allies. That's huge. That's really huge. So what are you thinking? Which power do you think gives you the ability to help your allies but it hinders yourself?
So I want to say the transmutation helps my allies and hinders myself.
Awesome. All right. So go ahead and add strange enhancement and then you'll assign that to transmutation. And then for volatile creations, when one of your bonuses, penalties, or other creations of your powers is destroyed, deal a target damage equal to the roll of your blank die. So transmutation, does that allow you to create things?
I would say yeah.
Okay, perfect. So it might have to be, then you might have to use transmutation, I think, for this one as well,
For both. Yeah.
which is
that
cool,
makes sense.
which is very cool. All right.
excellent. So I think I'm going to go for telepathy with my D12,
Oh,
intuition with a D10,
Nice.
and a D6 to agility.
Ooh, very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. So more
if you-
mental, but you also are no schlep as far
Yes.
as bouncing around, jumpy,
Yeah.
jumpy.
You know, like get a view of the battlefield of the fight, whatever it might be. But I like the idea that telepathy is incredibly strong, but as we have discussed, it's not something that I like using.
Yep. Yep. All right.
And
So,
intuition is just a good team thing to help us out figure out how
and
to
you're going
approach
to
the
find
situation.
as we play, intuition is going to be a super valuable one for you to be able to pick from when you're trying to solve and trying to act. When you're trying to build your die pool, something like that can be super valuable and gives you a ton of flexibility that allows you to lean into it, which is very cool. All right. So you're going to gain actually 2 yellow abilities
Mhm.
and a green ability.
Already
So
have them.
let's hear it.
So I'm going to go for the area alteration. Boost or hinder any number of nearby targets using power. Use your max die. So
Ooh,
that's
what
going to be really
power?
helpful to help the team out to boost. I mean, or hinder the enemies, whatever might be the case. And then inflict attack using power. Hinder that same target using your min die.
So, all right. So what powers are you going to assign to that? So what power gives you the ability to either boost or hinder everybody who's close to you?
I think that will be intuition. I
Like it.
think.
Nice.
Intuition for that.
You read the room, you read the situation, and you
Yeah.
either use that to hurt enemies that are nearby, or
Yeah.
you're able to help
That's the
your
plan.
things. So what power are you gonna attack with?
That
to
would be
hinder-
inflict. That would be attack using, I guess, agility.
Love it.
Using telepathy for that seems. I mean, I guess it could be pain, but at the same time, this seems more like putting mean thoughts into someone's brain. Yeah.
Agility, love it. Right, allows you
Agility.
to be physical, and it gives you an ability that is tied to your
Mhm.
to your physical nature of how you act. So that's
Yep.
good. And then green abilities, you already pick one for that.
I'm really picking between the ambush awareness and change in circumstances a little hard because ambush awareness is nice if you haven't yet acted in that scene. I may defend
Mhm.
against an attack by rolling my power die.
Mhm.
By the way, do I have to now use one of the powers I haven't assigned yet, or can I pick multiple?
So you have to do it as we're going. So you're gonna have to look at you have 3 powers to pick from.
Yes.
So if you choose ambush awareness, what power would you use that would make you harder to ambush?
Right. Telepathy is actually kind of interesting there because I would be able to, like, somebody tries to ambush me and I can pick up on that.
Yep.
And
Yep,
maybe I don't feel as bad using that because, I'm trying to pick up on an
trying to
ambush.
protect yourself.
deflect
You,
this.
you are threading a very, very specific needle that you have built for yourself
Yes.
on that. So that's very interesting. All right. So who's next? Let's look at training. Did we finish with you? We did, right? We've got all of
Mhm.
yours, Lou. Let's look at radiation. Dan, talk to me. So what did we finalize? Let's first finalize our powers, or remind us of our powers
Yeah.
again.
I picked nuclear at D10,
Okay.
absorption at D10,
Nice.
and strength at D6.
All right. So now you get 2 yellows and a green. I'm going to start with the green. Between the 3 greens, where are you leaning?
The one that I like the most is charged up. So it's whenever you roll a 1 on one or more dice, you may re-roll those dice. You must accept the result of the re-roll.
Very
So
nice.
it's all the time. So it seemed like pretty nice.
Well, and charged up gives us this idea of, like, you are just an energy thing. All right. So looking at the 2 yellow abilities, what are you leaning towards?
I like radioactive recharge. Boost yourself using power, which would be nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
Then either remove a penalty on yourself or recover using your min die. So that
Excellent.
seems very useful.
Yeah, like this nuclear power up concept ties to your charged up, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
It-
And the other one is wither. Attack using. I picked absorption for this one.
Love it.
because that hindered the target using your max die. So that
What-
maybe I'm draining some of his
Yeah, right. So you're attacking them by absorbing energy
their
from them, and
their
that causes
energy.
the hinder. That fits completely. All right. So what you'll want to do is once you've got all those set, both for Dan and Lou, is you're going to jot down the 3 dice that we're going to use for archetype here in just a second. All right. So let's go back to unknown. Let's talk to Dika. So Dika, we've got our powers picked. Have we decided on our 2 yellow abilities?
Yes, already. Strange enhancement and volatile creations, both transmutation.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Now you also gain a social quality at a D8. So you're going to pick up did you figure out which social quality you're going to pick up?
Yeah, I'm taking insight.
Very nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's add that as your D8. And then you've got 3 dice. Z, where did we end up, my friend?
Well, sorry, I was busy trying to keep my flying hell beast off my camera. So which exactly are we?
You're done, right? I think you have picked everything.
No. I am done. Yes. I have.
Okay, so let's roll. Let's move to archetypes now.
Right.
So Z, if you can roll a D12 and a D6 for archetype, please.
Of course. That is a 5 and a 6.
5 and a 6. So 5 is blaster, close quarters combat, or sorcerer.
Supreme.
I mean, that's a great channel name, right? You know, just
So
It's in
or
everyone's
name.
head, so I don't know.
This is definitely one we'll want to discuss as a team, right? Because archetypes is huge as far as team makeup is concerned.
Mhm.
So let's start looking through them, Z, start thinking about where you're leaning, but we're going to want this to be definitely a group activity.
Yeah.
So Dika, what are your 3 die?
Okay, I have a 10, 8, and a 6.
All right, let's take a look.
I could have gave that to you in order, but you know, we're here. Ooh.
So tempting.
Okay. Okay. 6, 8, and 10. Close
Nice.
quarters.
Oh, did you already roll them?
Oh, crap. You're right. Hold on. No. My fault. This is what happens when you don't pay attention, everyone.
Oh, good.
All right, a 1, a 6, and a 4. So we've got speedster. And then we've got marksman. Then we've got close quarters combat. Then we've got 5 blaster. Then we've got 7 armored. And then finally 10 robot cyborg.
Oh,
Wow.
Interesting.
That's
Works great with Tony Stark, right? And
Oh, that's super interesting. Former villain. All right, Lou, what are your 3 die or 2 die?
So there's a twist here for training. So
Oh,
I
yeah?
get to roll my 3 die for my archetype selection, but when I move to the next step, I select an extra quality from the archetype list at D8. So I get
Very
2
nice.
archetypes apparently.
No.
Oh,
So
I just get an extra one to choose.
you get an
from?
extra one a D8.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, which is
All right, 'cause
awesome.
I was trying to figure out how that would work with 2
Yeah.
totally
So
different
let's
dice.
roll your dice and let's figure out your choices here.
No problem. So that's going to be a 10, an 8, an 8, and an 8. Wow, that's a lot. That is a whole lot.
No. So read that again for me at the end.
The first step says when you move to the next step.
Yep.
So this is after I pick my power, select an extra quality from the archetype list at D8.
So when we get to the archetype, there's going to be quality
the
lists that you're going
qualities,
to get
I'm
a
sorry,
limited
yes.
choices of. You're going to you're going to get pick up one more on top of that and make it a D8.
I got you.
You
So
won't
read
roll
the
it.
words on the page. I got it.
Yep.
That's what I got.
Words matter.
All right. So 10, 8, and an 8. 10.
You love doubling up. All right. So you're looking at physical powerhouse, marksman. 7 is armored. Oh boy, Tony Stark. And then 8 is flyer.
Again, yeah.
Okay. Dan,
Okay.
what are your dice? What are you rolling for your archetype?
D10, D8, and D6.
All right, let's take a look. 7, 3, and 1. So 1 is speedster. 3 is physical powerhouse, which is starting to lean towards where you are, Dan. Physical powers 1, 3. Then you're going to have 4, which is marksman. 7, which is armored.
Armor.
8 is flyer. And then the last one you've got is 10, which is robot cyborg. All right. So this is a big one, I think. The archetype is a really big one because it very much defines their roles on the team. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, walk away for a second, and then when we come back, we're going to finalize our archetypes. We'll be right back. wow, we had some really good conversations during the break, and I think we're very close to decision. So I think Z, just because we're fresh off the conversation, what archetype did you lean towards? Oh, I caught you with food. Perfect.
No, that was my fault. I knew you were going to talk to me, and I'm just like, all right, faster. The archetype I wanted to go for is the stage magician. I think it could be really fun to have this. I mean, sorry, not stage magician, sorcerer.
Yeah.
That is a stage magician that just immediately came to mind because performer, stage magician, and the idea that the telepathy is something that I refuse to use. Like I honed my craft. That was the conversation we had. I honed my craft, and I'm refusing to use my newfound abilities, however I gained them, for that particular thing. So I could make it easy, just use my, craft and my abilities for great effect and be popular. But that's not what I want. It's cheating.
Oh, it's so cool. And what
Maybe
the
it's
one thing I
scary
mentioned
too, right?
was,
Like you don't know,
right?
You don't know what
You're
power
also
you're
gonna be
tapping into.
That's interesting too, Lou, right?
Yeah.
Which is maybe Z doesn't find it very safe.
Hey, here's a fun thing, because for the second one, I get to select from the information one. And guess what I'm picking? Otherworldly mythos.
There we
So
go.
my thinking, and I don't know, it says you have gazed into other dimensions, and
Maybe
we
a-
do have that
Maybe
in
a
our
mirror world.
Maybe there's an accident that relates to that mirror world,
That's super
because
interesting.
how did I get that information and how did I get my powers?
Oh, this is so cool. This is why you world build before you character build. This is so cool. All right, so we have got a sorcerer on our team. Dika, where did you end up?
Oh my gosh. So I turned around and started blasting at people. I'm the blaster.
The blaster. Very nice. Former villain blaster. Dan, where did you end up?
I'm interested in armored.
I think armored is really cool, tied to this whole radiation thing, because maybe the armor is as much to protect you as it protect people around you, right?
Yeah, I was wondering
Containing you.
if I was gonna take a power suit or not.
All right.
I'm
Well,
not-
you got to think about it, right? But your archetype now. So now think about what's happening, Dan, in this process is you are slowly evolving into really kind of two roles on the team, which is one, the moral compass. We've kind of figured that out, right? And also kind of the tank, right? The armored, you've
Yeah.
got some strength, you're absorbing and hindering other hindering villains around you. So I think that's interesting. Lou, what did you decide?
I'm going with physical powerhouse, of course. I mean,
Interesting.
I lift a lot of weights, so
All right, so let's keep going with physical powerhouse. So I've jumped to physical powerhouse. You get to assign one of the dice you rolled at the end of the power source step, and you rolled 2 or 3. I can't remember.
I rolled 3. I had
Okay,
a 10, an 8, and an 8.
so one of them you have to assign to strength.
Yes.
Which one are you going to assign to
So
strength?
I'm going to assign 10 to strength.
Yeah, so
because that
that's
seems to be the thing.
D12 is Hulk strong.
Yeah.
D10 is like pretty damn strong. That's like Spider-Man, in that area. So you now are officially doing it. And what'll be interesting is tied to your power source of trained, but with your backing. So it'll be interesting how are you so damn strong?
So I was already trying to think of that, and I think maybe my company developed some kind of crazy supplements, and I am like the poster child, like for these supplements for my company.
That's so
And yeah, go ahead. But the crazy thing is, it was like an accident, the combination, and I can't replicate it.
Oh,
Everything else I sell out there, no one will be like me because I really don't know how to replicate it.
That's good.
So.
And let's be honest, if we think through the canon of great superhero teams, every team had a pill popper.
It's kale. It's kale grown on a extreme UV light.
I love that idea though, Lou, is that like, and now you're upset because I'm also thinking about it inside of our world, right? So I would imagine a world with superpowers. that I'm sure there's an entire market for people who are non-powered. Like when we think about like the Liver King and just those people that like have all these different programs to make you stronger and better. Imagine that in a world with superpowers exist.
I envision my character on billboards with the
This is gonna be so
product,
Mhm.
and these guys are probably sick of it. Like every time
Oh,
we go
this
down
is
a
gonna
different
be so
block,
good.
I'm on there. That's how the revenue's coming in.
Do you believe in the
that's
product though? Do you
Uh,
believe in it?
no, I know it doesn't work
Oh,
because
I was
I.
thinking you're like trying to shill it to your fellow superheroes.
Oh no! You guys know. You guys know. It's a revenue stream for us. That's it.
Oh, that's
But
so
everyone
good.
thinks if they are on the right regiment, they'll be as strong or as fit as me.
All right, so now you get to assign one of your remaining dice to any of these powers. So are you going density control, leaping, signature weaponry, size changing, or an athletic power?
So I'm going signature weaponry.
Interesting.
All right. I did not decide what that weaponry
That's okay.
is going to
We'll
be.
do that later. Yep. But you're going to have some sort of signature weapon that's tied to who you are, which fits the training. So I absolutely love that. And then any remaining dice. So you have one remaining die after that to one of these qualities. So you're going to pick up an additional quality, and you're actually going to pick up two qualities, right? Because you also pick up a D8 as a hangover from the last step, right? Didn't it
I
tell you to
forgot
pick
about
an
that,
additional
yes.
quality?
Yeah.
So you can pick two physical, two social, or a physical and a
All right,
social.
so I already did pick one social, and I am going with banter because of this whole salesman thing. I talk at people. I just, I figure if I talk enough, they're going to do the thing.
Everybody needs a Peter Parker Spider-Man. I love that.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm the salesman for the team. That's it.
Beautiful. All right, so you take a look at those other qualities. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at Blaster real quick.
Okay.
So looking at Blaster, you get to assign one of the dice you rolled at the end of the power source step, and you rolled 2 or 3.
I rode end of power step. I wrote 3.
Okay, so you're going to assign one of them to elemental energy power. So
Yeah.
have you had a chance to look at those?
I did. So I'm interested in potentially doing cosmic. But then if I go one under as well, I can also assign another dice to either like weapon, energy, mobility, or technology. So I'm not gonna pick anything from tech. I know that. Mobility, I'm like I can teleport, but I'm not going crazy. Or I can get a weapon or another elemental power, which I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do we need? Because I know we have like a powerhouse, a power
Mhm.
defender, a sorcerer supreme.
So one of the things I'll recommend between the 4 of you, 1 or 2 of you should pick up a mobility. It tends to be super helpful to have somebody who can fly or teleport or jump, because you're going to want to get somewhere, right?
Yeah.
During a battle in a scene. So just think about that. Doesn't have to be you, Dika, but I want you to think about that as you're looking through that and starting to make decisions. All right. And the archetype that you picked, Dan, was armored. So let's
Armored.
go there. So assign one or more of your dice rolled at the end of the power source step to one of these powers. You got a hell of a list: vehicle, weaponry, like basically any power you want. So thinking in the context of you being an armored archetype, right? The tank of the group now. What group did you decide? And you rolled 3, right?
Yeah.
So you can pick 3 of these, or you
Yeah,
can
but
save
I
one
want to save. Yeah, I want to save at least one
for
for
quality.
some physical. Well, what I was thinking is getting something that's not combat related as
Always
much.
always good.
Yeah, like maybe I don't know. Dika has awareness, I think.
Yeah.
Did someone take intuition? Oh no, Loot
Nope.
took presence, I think.
Correct.
I
Super handy, Dan, if nobody took intuition. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
he just got
thinking
intuition.
I took
Oh.
insight.
All right.
I'm thinking deduction or intuition, but maybe intuition would be interesting.
Well, it's two different ways, right? So when you're using this ability, Dan, are you able to figure stuff out because of your intuition or because of the clues and you're piecing together the clues, right? That's the difference between deduction and intuition. Is it your gut that tells you what to do and gives you that information, or is it you being observant and piecing through it?
I think he's a feeling guy
Love it.
because of. So I'm gonna go with intuition.
Very
It seems to
cool.
work better in my mind.
So looking at, let's jump now to qualities, because you said you're going to save one of those die to not pick up a third power, but a second, you're going to go 2 powers and a
Yeah.
quality. What are you leaning towards, Dan? Physical or social?
I'm thinking physical. I need something to fight, obviously, because my qualities so far are conviction and imposing.
Okay, so yeah, I could definitely see a need for a
Imposing is in.
physical.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if I'm gonna be more close combat or range combat.
Well, we've already got a blaster,
True.
and that absorption seems like you need to be close.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So maybe
And you're our
close
tank,
combat.
right? If you're starting to, if it looks like we send Dan in to absorb and to take on, you know, the brunt of things, I think close combat makes a ton of sense.
And something.
All right, then you'll have to think of a second power on that list. So I'll leave you there, Dan Z. Where are you floating?
So I'm gonna go for teleportation in the mobility section
Love it.
for one of them, and the other one I'm gonna pick information otherworldly mythos as a quality.
Got it.
So
And you rolled 2 or 3 die. Remind me.
I rolled 2 die, and I'm
Perfect.
trying to figure out. I think it was where are they? Where are they? It's a D12 and a D6.
Ooh, so that's
So
a huge decision,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
What is going to, because that's literally the 2 sides of the spectrum.
yeah.
So between those 2, what is going to have the bigger?
I think I like the idea that the information isn't as high because I have some idea, but I'm not all knowing about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to throw. I don't know how that plays out. I'm going to throw the D12 at teleportation.
So
Oh,
I can tell you this makes you like the best at teleportation. So at D12, I not only will allow you to teleport to a place where you have never been before safely
Oh,
at a D12, right? Like if you were at a D6, I would say you need to know where you're going. In fact, I think you
Yeah.
need to see where you're going. I think
Right.
you could only teleport within your line of sight. Whereas D12, you are the best at this. And I think you could also group teleport.
oh
I think
boy.
that you would have the ability to teleport not just yourself, but others as well. Because I mean,
That sounds
D12,
dangerous.
yeah, D12 is a whole new level. So I think that's super interesting.
Yeah, trust me, you're gonna appear in all pieces together, not just like
Maybe-
pieces mixed
maybe
up. Like,
They'll all be connected, but not the way they were connected before.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
oh boy,
All right.
I'm
So
very sorry.
So you have picked your 2 dice. So let's take a look. You're going to get 2 green abilities
Mhm.
and a yellow. Have you started to piece
Right.
through those?
So it says 2 different powers. It can be any of the powers that I have, or does it have to be like
any of the any of the
Okay.
powers that you currently have.
Right. Okay, good. I have picked Banish for the green one, and I'm considering using teleportation because it hinders. And my idea is to move an enemy to a slightly different. I don't know if that works like that.
Oh, I
but-
love that, because let's read the whole thing. So hinder using teleportation. Use your max die. If you roll doubles, also attack using your mid die.
Yes.
So you could definitely make a teleportation turn into an attack that does damage. I think that's super interesting. What is the second
Excellent.
one you're looking at, Z?
The second one is subdue, and I don't know which one to use for this one. I have agility, and I think part of me thinks to go ahead and pick telepathy for that one.
Attack using telepathy. Hinder the same target using your mid die. So how would you attack with telepathy, do you think? How would you do damage to somebody with telepathy?
That's a good question. How would I damage somebody with intuition? I don't want to go for teleportation again. So
Well, how about, but didn't you say did you
I have agility.
start? Do you have agility? I think agility makes a ton of sense. Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go for agility. Yeah,
I think
need
so too.
something.
And it ties to subdue, so I think that's good.
Yep.
All right. Is there a yellow ability that you've?
Yes, I think it's gonna be Chords of Magic. I think.
Destroy all bonuses and penalties on a target. That's so big.
Yeah.
Then hinder that target using.
In this case, maybe teleportation. I mean, the idea of telepathy, does it have to be reading the mind, or can it like
It can be broadcast as well, right?
Yeah,
So telepathy is
broadcast.
both ways. So there's
right? So I'm thinking, hear me out.
Mhm.
Otherworldly magic, shadows, and Chords of Magic summons something like that, something from the other world that hinders the target.
Love it. Love it.
So-
Maybe you tie them to that other the mirror dimension, causes them
Ooh.
to be confused and clouded, and
Yeah. I'll go for that then.
that's really nice. That's really nice. So the other thing that you're going to need to look at now is take a look at your second principle. So
Oh.
go track down the esoteric. Did you already figure that out?
Oh, I have two that I need to pick between, and they're so hard to choose.
Well, let's hear them.
One of the principle of exorcism. During roleplay, you can detect subtle hints of the influence of other realms in an event.
Oh,
sorry,
that's
no, that-
big in this world.
But principle of inner demon, you have a darkness in you that you strive to keep suppressed. You can
Literally
reach
have
out
no
to your
idea
dark
why you-
side to
Why are you
connect with someone-
deciding?
Yeah, I know. It's inner demon.
We know,
to the
we know
darkness.
the decision.
Yeah, it has to be, right? Yeah.
All right. Like, come on.
Oh, this does not bode well. One hears voices in her head, the other
Oh,
has
this
inner
is gonna
demon.
I hope you four realize how much freaking fun we're about to have with these four characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
they're
is
not
what
even
I-
fully formed
It's
yet.
going to be so painful not being able to play those now and have to wait.
Oh.
So painful.
All right, I'm going to go back to Blaster now. So let's bring me up to speed, Dika. Where are we on Blaster?
Okay. So I'm actually a little bit behind, but I've assigned. So I'm gonna ask the team this because we have a teleporter. I can take flyer if need be. What do we feel?
So
What
which
do you
ones?
feel? Do you
Yeah, what
want
do
to
like in this
fly?
case?
You want to levitate? Like, yeah.
So my element right now is cosmic, and I was gonna have a secondary element if we didn't get someone else with mobility as weather, which may like hide us in
Ooh.
situations.
Having weather control, super interesting. Very defining too,
Mhm.
right? As your blaster, because now your blaster suddenly has got wind, lightning. There's all
Yeah,
kinds of things you can blast with.
I would say don't feel like you have. We need somebody to fly, so don't make
yeah.
that part of your choice. I think we're good.
What's your gut say, Dika?
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with weather. I'm picking weather.
All right. So we have picked weather, and you have picked cosmic. And do you have a remaining die for mental or physical?
I do have a remaining die, and I'm going to pick stealth.
Totally fits. Totally fits with the character you're piecing together, Dika. That's very cool. All right. Who else? Oh, go ahead, Dika.
One thing, instead of cosmic, I'm going to go with code, because if I'm reading the weather option, it's saying if I want a more direct application of the weather's powers, I can also take like electricity or code. Feel a little bit too on brand if I pick electricity, just storm at that point. But I can have like weather and then the second one be code.
I think that's super cool because it ties to the stealth, the kind of the darkness that
Yeah.
we've been talking about a little bit with our former villain, our Ice Queen, maybe. This is super interesting. Super interesting. All right. Who else has made some final decisions here before we move on?
And
I
we-
have.
Sorry.
I picked my last
Quality?
quality, so I'm going with imposing. That way, I can,
That fits.
just stand in the front while I'm waving my signature weapon. my titanium baseball bat. So
Oof.
I am always in the front, shirtless, swinging my titanium baseball bat. So when I start unbuttoning my collared businessman shirt, it's business time.
So this is entirely Craig's fault, but now I can't get the image of Liver King out of my mind beating up some poor goons with a baseball bat. And it's
So
beautiful.
what I can't wait to find out is, in the middle of the heat of battle, Lou is in his business suit, did not know that things were going to break out. We already know how he gets in costume. He gets in costume by doing less, not more. But how does he carry this bat around? What form is this bat
I was
in?
thinking, I'm like, is it like a collapsible baton kind of thing?
Oh.
Is it, like, is it just,
Can I?
maybe I have a
Dika.
satchel, I have a man satchel that is just
Can I make a
always
suggestion?
in.
Let's hear it, Dika.
Sure, I love it.
Your character has money, Lou. You can absolutely make a functioning collapsible bat.
I could, but the best part is the bat actually has the baseball team that I am a sponsor for with my supplements on the bat. So when I'm on the front page, like I literally am swinging the bat near the camera so they can get the team name so that I can make more money. And all these little kids are running around with fake bats. I love it.
What was the principle that you've already picked, Lou? What was the first principle you picked?
My first principle was banter.
No, principle.
Team.
I'm all over here. Team.
That's right. Team. Okay,
yes.
perfect. Very, very cool.
And then, speaking of minions, as Z said, my bat, I picked Strength and Victory. Every time I eliminate a minion with an attack power, I recover health. So I'm just going to be bashing minions.
Exercise is healthy.
My strength back. So
send the little guys to me. I'm going to knock them out of the park.
Be fun.
Literally.
It's going to be fun. That's my catchphrase.
So, Dan, you picked, what was your final archetype? Was close quarters combatant? Was that right?
Armored.
Armored. I'm sorry. Yeah, armored. All right. So, what was left for you to choose? Have you picked your green? Oh, geez, you get a ton of green abilities, which means you're going to be you're going to be huge at the beginning of the fight, right? You're going to have a ton of green abilities, which is you're going to be the first strike on this team with all of these green abilities. Have you made some decisions on them? So you're already going to gain armored.
Yeah. So I reduce physical energy damage by 1 in the green, 2 when we're yellow, and 3 in red. And it's what's inherent? It's all the time.
It's inherent, so it's always, so you don't have to take an action for this to be the case, and you're able to take more damage as the scene progresses or as you get weaker and you take more hits. So that's big. What are the 3 green abilities did you pick?
I picked Living Bulwark, which is attack using. I put Intuition because I also defend another target with my min die. So Intuition fit better, I thought, than Nuclear for this.
And think about this, you could still be attacking physically, but what's the differentiator here is your intuition, right? Your ability to really understand the situation. So I think that's great.
Yeah, I put a D10 in Intuition, so
nice.
It's a good one.
Hey, samesies.
I took Unstoppable Charge, attack using Nuclear. In your penalties on this attack, ignore any defense actions, and it cannot be affected by reactions.
Oh, that's big. And that fits into this first strike concept, right? With you having all these green abilities.
I'm the first in, last one
out. Yeah. Well, we got to give Lou time to unbutton a shirt. So
bringing Nuclear Warhead to a fight, just charging in there.
So what was your third green ability?
The third one, Deflect. I wasn't sure, but it seemed interesting. It's a reaction. When I'm dealt damage, I can deal damage to a nearby target equal to the amount reduced by your armored ability.
So
just good for minions.
Yeah, and in general, as you're looking at the different abilities as you guys are going through this, picking up at least one R is a good idea because that allows you, when you get hit, to have a reaction. Same thing when you're looking at the icons, looking for one or more shields is always good. But honestly, what's so cool about this game is like, so is the boosts, so is the hinders, so is the attacks. Like,
Yeah.
but having one reaction is not the worst thing in the world. All right, so you need to start piecing through your expertise principles. Did you find one, Dan? Have you had a chance to look there yet?
No, I'm
All
at
right,
that
so I'm
point.
going to send you off on that.
Was it okay for my two remaining die? I put 2 in qualities. I put
Great.
D8 in close combat and D6 in persuasion.
Very smart.
I figured I needed a little bit of persuasion with these guys.
You really don't want to do this. You really don't want to do this.
I'm more imposing than persuasive.
Persuasive. Yep. Amazing. All right. Who has finished up their archetypes? Who's ready to move next? All right, Z, let's talk about you. You went sorcerer.
Yes.
Go to
One quick
sorcerer.
thing we forgot to mention for you is the minor major twist of the principle, right?
I want to hear that. from
Yes,
Esoteric.
because I think you're going to enjoy that entirely too much. Minor twist, what sinister act comes from tapping into your dark side? And major twist, what havoc does your dark side inflict as you allow it to take control?
I'm so excited about having one character tied to this other dimension that we created when we created the world. I was really hoping one of you would do this, and having our sorcerer here, our accidental mediocre magician.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so you're going to roll 2d10 for personality.
Yes.
So let's
that
go
is
ahead
a
and do that.
5 and a 10 and
You rolled a 5
15
and a
and
10.
yeah.
All right, so let's take a look. A 5 is
Mhm.
sarcastic.
Mhm.
10 is alluring. And then
Mhm.
15 is jovial.
Jovial and alluring are both great. I think like alluring might be great as a stage magician, as part of the craft. You know, you want to be charming. You want to win people over for your show. So I think I'm
what's
gonna
cool-
have to go for that.
I like that. And that's going to give you your green, yellow, and red die, which gives you a sense of the status die you're going to use as you
Mhm.
progress in the scene. And remember, when we play, you're going to progress on your status die either based on how far into the fight we are or how much damage you've taken. And you get stronger as either of those things progress, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
Lou, where are we right now?
I just picked that last principle. I am taking tactician.
Oh, that's
So-
great.
I am constantly assessing the situation, making plans and backup plans, and then reassessing the situation. So I have a feeling I do too much planning when I probably should swing my bat more, but then it all goes to hell anyway, and I just get out there with my bat.
What I'm also picking up too, Lou, is when we think about the roles in the team, I'm picking up that you are the thinker of the team, right? So it doesn't mean you're the brains, but you're the planner, the person that lays everything out and stuff like that. That's totally fitting. So what is the minor and major
The minor
twist?
twist is, what one variable did your plan not account for?
Beautiful.
Probably anything. And then, what major threat is revealed that invalidates all of your plans? So I planned the whole thing out, and then what happens to go, get off the shirt. Get off the shirt and get the bat. That's it.
TK, what decisions are made?
Oh, me, yes. So, I'm on my powers, and I am choosing disabling blast using transmutation,
Nice.
precision hit, which is using my awareness,
Perfect.
and then I pick 2 yellow abilities, and I have energy immunity to cold,
Perfect.
and heatless blast. So that is I attack multiple targets using weather.
Oh.
And then I go to esoteric principles next.
All right, so take a pick through those esoteric principles, figure out what really fits. And again, your second principle is going to be more guided towards your hero side. First principle was guided more towards your alter ego. Dan, what's our final choices here?
I'm checking the principles, the expertise principles.
So you're
I
our
rolled-
moral compass. You're our tank.
Yeah. Well, there's the principle of the indestructible, which
Oh, as a tank? 100%.
Let's hear the role playing of that. Let's talk through indestructible.
you ignore damage from underpowered close combat weapons and attacks, such as clubs, non-powered fists, and basic ranged attacks such as slings and arrows. The twists are what goes wrong with your defenses, and who gets hurt other than you as a result of you not being able to take damage.
With your justice principle, that's interesting.
Yeah. The other one is mastery, which is you have thoroughly studied your own powers and are proud of your mastery of them. You understand a good deal about the metaphysics of your powers, but it's maybe a bit too brainy.
Well, yeah, but you have been playing with that a little bit, Dan, right? You have been playing with that to make sure that you're not just all physical. You've brought in some other things. And we think about your background. Remind me your background.
Tragic.
Okay. So throw this out there. Could have been a scientist. Tragic accident. Radio, maybe you're a nuclear scientist, have a tragic accident. This is where you are right now. I think you could make either of those. I think honestly, either of those either of those work. What do we think for Dan's character? Do we see him more as like leaning in hard on the tank thing and the indestructible thing is huge?
Yeah.
Or do we have that the tragic scientific accident?
So for me, I'm thinking the tank, because when we're thinking justice, I'm thinking protecting, right? I'm thinking protecting justice. And then that I just see the character standing in front of somebody protecting them and, just being that stalwart.
What do you
Otherwise,
think?
playing around with a demon core and messing up sounds great too.
I do like indestructible, but I was thinking because there's no weakness kind of thing in the system, but I was thinking that probably I'm tough when I'm powered up, and when I'm powered up, you don't see a normal human. You see maybe something glowing. So I didn't take any special armor thing, but I'm guessing the nuclear thing creates a sort of carapace. So
I think like a nuclear field that comes around you. The armor does not have to be physical, Dan. It could be something that literally destroys when you touch it, right? This incredible, like again, Human Torch, right? Instead of fire, but a nuclear energy. I love that.
Well, maybe that's why you're torn, because it literally gives off radiation. So when you use it, there's also bad things that happen.
So Brian in the chat, Old Slow Tiger, said something I thought was interesting. Or the tragedy was a loved one getting hurt when he couldn't protect them.
Ooh.
That works too.
That fits into the tragic as well. So all right,
I'm
going to let you
clearly.
I'm going to let you stew on that a little bit. Lou, we are past. No, we haven't picked personalities yet for you, have we?
Correct.
Oh, this is big. This is big for this Tony Stark.
I mean, we all kind of know what my guy is, but let's see what the dice say.
Let's see.
So I got to roll 2d10. That would be.
So Dan, I don't know if you saw in chat, but Jim says a Hulk-like scientific accident could mix well on this list. I agree.
Did they both come out?
The Bruce Banner character, right? All right, so Lou, you rolled a 2 and a 10. So that's natural leader, alluring, or nurturing. It's definitely nurturing. I think if we've led anything.
Let's let the chat decide.
All right. So
do I have to Are we gonna
Natural
allure the chat? No.
Natural leader, alluring or nurturing?
Alluring.
How is everybody in the chat thinking? What are we thinking about Lou's shirtless baseball bat wearing trade billionaire?
Rip like 12-pack. Like it's insane.
I think I'm with old slow tiger. He says natural leader totally works, but I could see alluring. I
Yeah.
could see both.
Yeah,
I can see both.
I could see both. I have alluring, but there's the thing where we're going to get to make up a quality, and I think we're just going to have to. If you pick alluring, we're just going to have to figure out how we like can play off each other with the
Again, alluring does not have to be like physically alluring.
Oh no! I
Like,
understand,
I'm just
but like how you
magnanimous,
act,
right?
right?
Like, people want to be near me. I have money. I'm on
Oh.
billboards. Like that is an
Yeah.
allure. Like people
That is
just
true.
want to be there.
That's
Yeah.
how this ugly face ended up. Yeah,
All those
alluring.
billboards around town.
The-
Craig he's everywhere.
Alluring would work for him, I think.
You know what? I don't hate this.
Nurturing.
I don't hate this. So, Viva, first time chat. Viva, thank you for watching. Viva has a really good one. Viva went totally contradictory here, and I like this. Nurturing, he's the team dad.
He has the money.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Like,
sugar
hats
daddy.
off to you, Viva.
Oh,
I would have
no.
not thought about it.
Yes.
It is now my favorite.
I may have more than one child. There are many zip codes. There are many.
Yeah, Viva, I'm very tempted to take agency away from Lou right now. Like, I don't
No,
know.
I'm-
Now I don't
I'm
know how
down.
you don't take nurturing.
I do like the idea though, because you could be cutthroat in business, but
I
very
literally
different.
rush home to coach my kids in baseball.
My heart.
Like that is that
Oh.
tears me out from the team all the
And
time.
think about this. So think about if you end up building this idea that from a business perspective, you are cutthroat, no mores, like whatever it is to make the next dime, right? But when you get with the team, because we have team as a principle, right? This is a different side of you. And what's cool about nurturing is you're a D6 in green and in yellow, and then a D12 at red.
Ooh,
So when I get-
yes.
Yeah, that's
So the
great
back-
when you
bells.
think about it.
Yeah, I can't hold it anymore.
Oh, this is so good.
Because I got to get home. Gotta. It's taking.
I mean, a
And
D12
you
got
got
a
to
red
take care of this
ability.
family.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
The
Oh, I
D12
love
in
that.
red is big. That is big.
It is.
Just-
It is. It means I got to get lumped up though to get there.
Oh, this is so good.
No problem.
This is so good.
All right.
Who has not gotten a personality yet? Who's ready for personality?
I'm
All right.
on principle.
Well, let's Dika, let's talk about the principles. What are you debating between?
Okay, so there's a few interesting ones on esoteric. I'm looking at, I think this one's low hanging fruit, but principle of energy or element.
Mhm.
I like the idea of principle of immortality, and then you have the principle of the undead, but that one I can get rid of.
I don't like undead, Dika. I'll tell you
Yeah.
right now. You can talk me into it, but I don't love it.
I can't talk myself into it.
Yeah. Energy, I think, is good. Let's talk about the second one.
Principle of immortality.
So why don't you read off the let's read through it and see if it clicks for the other three of us, or the other three
Okay.
players.
During role play, you do not age and will not be affected by mundane elements. Minor twist, you take the long view of things. How does that cause you to be too slow? Major twist, what important attachment must you shed?
Okay, and let's do the energy. Same thing on energy. Oh no, go. What are your
Oh,
thoughts
no,
on that,
no.
Dika?
I'll say it after I read energy.
All right.
All right.
So let's hear
So
energy.
for energy, you have an affinity to or love for we'll just say nature / code. You can interact with the energy element with ease. Minor twist, what other energy is currently causing your powers to go on a fritz? We live in a hot climate, so
Ooh, good point. Good point. We're in Texas, right? Central Texas. Yep.
major twist, what source of energy is currently dampening all your powers?
So Z, Lou, and Dan, as you're listening, Dika's kind of narrowed it down to 2. What are we feeling? Let's help her out a little bit.
I like immortality. I think it's pretty cool because you're a former villain, but who's
Yeah.
to say you weren't there when they created Eden? You
Mm,
could be like really old,
I
unless
mean,
it's recent. But yeah,
being really old can also come with, a lot of wisdom in that regard, having seen a lot of things go wrong. And maybe that is, seeing, you have villains that do bad things, but they might not be around to see it all play out. Maybe you saw it play out and no
Okay.
more. Just as an idea, of course.
I think the other thing to think about too is, and this is something that you're going to have to work through, Dika, is
Hmm.
what turned you, right? So if you are a former villain, you're going to have to figure out what made you a protector of the furnace, right? What made you decide you're going to protect this neighborhood and be a part of this team? And immortality leans into you having a long view, having seen it all. I think that's interesting. Lou, what are your thoughts between energy and immortality?
Immortality is interesting. Um, for all the points said, I think that's tough too if you're not in it. So Dika, my suggestion would be if you're not feeling that, time and wisdom and
That's
I mean
true.
energy, you could swing that so many different ways. So if there's something you want, I mean, it doesn't have to be a bolt of light. Energy means energy. So
Energy. That's
Yep.
true.
Yep.
What would we think about like a younger immortal?
I was just thinking that. I was thinking like one of the things if you choose Immortal Dika, you need to decide, are you like 14 or are you 85? Right?
That's
Are
true.
you gonna right? Are you gonna play an old lady or somebody super young? I think that opens it up considerably.
Oh God damn it.
All right.
Yeah.
So all right. All right. So let's see.
I pick
Z,
Yes.
immortal.
you
Huh?
went with which person? You went Immortal?
Alluring.
Perfect.
I went with
You
alluring.
went with Alluring. So let's go to Alluring real quick.
Mhm.
So for Alluring, you're going to make up a quality based on your hero's backstory. So
Yes.
this is one of the more interesting parts of this game.
Mhm.
So you get the ability to create a quality. And let's talk about
Mhm.
what qualities are. Qualities are basically something that you are good at more
Mhm.
than an average person, an
Yes.
expertise you have. So now you
Mhm.
got to go all the way back to your backstory, and which is going to be tied to the first decision you made.
Mhm.
And you're going to come, and equality is usually going to be 1 or 2 words, maybe 3 words at the most.
One.
What is it?
Captivating.
Oh,
I
my
mean, I'm a
God, that's so
performer
good.
after all. That's important. And I like the idea of using this to, using it when the hinder abilities comes up or things
Drawing
like that.
attention. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's like,
Great
watch.
call, Z.
Yeah.
D8, captivating.
Yep.
So now your out ability at the very bottom
Mhm.
of your sheet, you have the ability to put this in. And this is
Yep.
something that's really cool, is that they have hit points, right? At the very end of things, though, if they run out of hit points, you don't die.
Mhm.
You're out of the scene, but they still have an initiative order and they can
Mhm.
use their out ability, which is even if Z's character is taken out, they can still boost an ally by rolling your single what die. How
Uh,
will you boost people?
so my question is, can I pick any of my power die?
Any power.
Okay. It has to be telepathy because
Oh,
I
I love
can
that.
talk to people and and encourage them or give them information. But it is I don't like doing it, but I'm out. This is the only thing I have now.
I absolutely love that. All right, so you need to start paging through the red
Mhm.
abilities. You have a handout already set. You're going to pick 2 of those.
Yes, will do.
All right, so now let's go to our nurturing team dad. What quality
So
are you going to make up based on your backstory to assign a D8 to?
it is going to be one word also, incorruptible.
That's
Ooh.
interesting. Talk to me.
With all the money, with all the fame, being the nurturing one on the team, none of it has corrupted me. I am a wholesome, dad, team member, team first.
Love it.
Nothing is alluring enough to me to make me stray off of that path.
Incorruptible. D8. I think that's a super cool quality. Well done, Lou. That's really good. We
we're
got two
supposed to be
really
playing
good.
pretend.
What'd you say,
Even,
Dika?
even though there's a former villain on the team,
We're supposed to be
she'll
playing
learn.
pretend.
She'll learn by my example. She'll learn.
All right, so your out abilities, you can boost an ally by rolling your single quality die. What quality are you going to use if you're taken out?
Persuasion. So that's a D8.
Oh,
So
you're going to be a cheerleader.
I'm gonna absolutely be a cheerleader.
Oh, that's great. All right, so you need to start flipping through the red abilities, Lou, and figure out what fits you there. Dan, did we figure out your personality?
No, it's 2d10, right?
It is going to be, so let's go to your armored, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Let's go to armored, and then you're going to roll 2d10 for your personality. Yep. A 3, 6. So you got 3, 6, and 9. Impulsive. Oh my God. I love this game so much. 6, distant, and 9, inquisitive. I think it has to be impulsive or inquisitive based on the way your character's forming. Do you understand what I'm thinking here, Dan? Like impulsive fits the first strike, tank, get in the middle of everything, right? And inquisitive starts to really pull into the intellectual piece that's been growing inside of this character of yours.
I like inquisitive because I feel like he won't drop the matter.
I think it's very cool. All right, so you're going to have, let's go to inquisitive here. So all right, so you're going to be D6, D8, D10. So you get better as time passes or as you take more damage, which I think totally fits. So your green die is a 6, your yellow is a D8, and your red is a D10 on your status.
Okay.
But I think we need to make up a quality based on your hero's backstory, which is tragic. So you've got this tragic, justice, tank, powerhouse, inquisitive. What is something tied to your backstory that you want as a quality? What is something about you, Dan, that is unique to you, that something you're better at or something you're good at?
Inquisitive.
It doesn't have to be tied to inquisitive. This is tied to your backstory.
Okay.
So the first thing that pops in my head is protective.
That could work.
Right? Or something along those lines. So I'm just going to use that to kind of like kick you off a little bit.
A word that came to mind is beacon.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
It's not just tanky. I'm like trying to set an example, which pushes me a little
ties
much.
to the justice and everything. I love beacon. Love beacon as a DA quality. So I love that.
Beacon, shining beacon. I don't know.
I think beacon covers it.
Just
I like
beacon.
Yeah, beacon is a great quality. You are trying to set an example. You are trying. Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Love it. I do too.
First in the battle, last leaving out.
Yep.
And if you do something wrong, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna bother you.
All right. So let's talk about your out ability.
Yeah.
Choose an ally. Until your next turn, that ally might re-roll one of their dice by using a reaction. So you don't need to make any decisions.
Yeah.
But you get to coach, right? You get to coach an ally during your out ability. And you're going to be coaching them to protect themselves because it's based on a reaction.
I like
That's
that.
cool.
That fits.
I do. I think it fits perfectly. Are you kidding me? So let's then look at you need to start flipping through your red abilities. So there's a handout. If you don't have the book handy, start flipping through those red abilities and deciding what 2 red abilities are you. And so red abilities are your finishing moves.
Yeah.
Either the scene, we're down to the last 3 turns. We're about to lose this battle. We got to red. What are your big guns? What's your major move? Or you've gotten beaten up. You are on your last few points of health. What's the big things that you do before you finish things out? All right, Dika, where are we?
Okay, I'm on personality, and I
Mhm.
rolled 2d10.
Let's see. And what did you end up with? Oh, you've got an 8 and a 10. Fast talking. Boy, alluring is really popular with this group.
Apparently.
Fast talking. We have a sexy team. Fast talking, alluring, and apathetic is super interesting.
Pathetic?
Huh. For an immortal being that does there's something to that,
Did
isn't
you-
there?
Let's take a quick look at apathetic.
Yeah.
So with apathetic, you go from 6 to 8 to 10. So you get better as time goes on, or as you
That
get
makes
hurt
sense.
more. Your out abilities remove a bonus or penalty of your choice. So you've got the entire field. You can remove a bonus off of a villain or a penalty on one of your allies. That's a big deal.
It's very
Okay.
good.
All right. Other than apathetic, the other 2 were 8 and 10. Does fast talking or alluring?
I did not see her as a fast talker or like super luring.
Okay, so let's focus on apathetic. So let's go back to your backstory. What was your background, your origin?
Oh my gosh. Un momento.
So I have a question about the red abilities real quick.
Let's hear it, Z.
The red abilities need to be tied to something that you have. You must have a die assigned to a power or quality in a category to use with an ability from that category. So I don't know quite what are categories in this case. I know I have psychic, which
Yeah.
seems to be one. So can I
That's
only
mental.
take?
Mobility.
Oh, that's mental, right?
Right. So yeah, if you'll notice, all the powers and qualities have a category.
Oh, all the powers. Okay. That's mental. Oh, okay. Thought telepathy is psychic.
That and that's possible. See, I think
Oh,
I
okay.
confused
Okay. Yeah,
it.
no, I'm just like making sure I got that right.
Yeah,
Right.
you've got it right. Yeah,
Where does agility fall in? Because I have agility, but
athletic.
I
I think it's under athletic.
All right. That
Double-
makes a lot
double
of
check
sense
me.
now that you say that out loud. I could have maybe deducted that by myself, but
You're a podcaster. You barely know what's going on.
that is true.
All right, Dika. So
Former villain. That was my background.
okay. So what is a quality? And now I think we need to start. You don't have to finalize anything, Dika, but we've got this apathetic immortal former villain. Controls the weather, has a cold nature to her powers. What is a quality do we think she could have?
I'm thinking hardened.
Oh my god, I love it. Oh, it's so good. Hardened. D8 hardened. All right, so you need to start flipping through the red abilities, Dika, and decide what talks to you.
All right.
Who is ready to start talking red abilities?
What is an irreducible damage? That is something you can never get back.
So irreducible means that a reaction or a defend action can't reduce the damage. So that means the damage is going to go straight through.
Oh, right. Oh, that's why it says you may take 1 irreducible damage. Right.
So like Dan, I think Dan's character has that innate
Armor.
ability that allows his character to reduce damage. If he were to take something that says you have to take 1 irreducible damage, it negates that.
Mhm.
Lou, have we gotten anywhere as far as red
Yeah,
abilities?
I'm good. I was just filling in the chart.
All right,
So,
so
my red abilities, when
what category?
I can't stand no more. Psychic powers.
Oh, interesting. All right, under psychic powers, what did you pick?
So I picked things that were not necessarily as psychic as you would think, but go with my
Okay.
character. Seriously, you'll understand when I say them.
Walk me through
Uh,
it.
The first one is impenetrable defense. So I defend with my max and mid die against all attacks against me till my next turn.
Oh my god, that's huge.
So I just envision just blocking everything, just with my bat, with my gadgets. I'm in the zone.
So what power did you pick?
So I picked imposing. It's going to be like, come at me. Like,
Yep.
I'm ready. Let's do this. You know, you're not going to get through.
At the end of the fight, your hero steps up and mentally takes over the situation. You become the imposing character at that moment. Everybody comes in you and you can take all hits. I think that's very cool. All right. So what was your second red?
My second one is like the kill switch. It is Final Wrath.
Ooh.
I attack and I use my max, mid, and min dice, but I take a major twist. You're welcome, Craig.
What power?
Conviction.
Interesting. Conviction is a quality.
It can be
mental quality,
power or
no, it's
is
a
it only
quality.
power?
I see
it's
it.
a quality or power, right?
Yeah, but
Because
the
I
final
was
wrath
also-
requires a power.
Oh,
Attack using
darn it.
quality.
I
Yeah,
thought I could use either.
Final wrath,
Um,
attack using power.
Quality.
but it's in mental qualities
I-
too.
No, I understand that, but
Okay.
he's picking final wrath. Final wrath says attack using power, so he has to
It
pick
does,
a
it
power
does,
that causes
yes.
the final wrath.
Yeah, that was
I'm
my.
seeing it
that
with
was my
quality.
fault.
My book says quality.
Under mental,
Mine says
mental
power.
qualities.
So we're looking under psychic powers.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's
Got you.
also in mental qualities.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what confused me. Okay.
Okay, but yeah, no. Craig is correct. I have
So,
to choose power.
Signature
for it.
weapon.
So I was going to use gadgets then. It must be a gadget that I will only use in dire
That's a
circumstances.
cool idea.
I literally envision like the thermal detonator scene,
Oh, I like that
with
idea.
Java. Like
You carry
we're going down.
carry your failsafe, and you
Yes.
only bring it out when it has to be done.
Yep.
And it's not pretty, which is why I get to give you a major twist.
Yes, and we
Frickin'
may not
awesome.
know what that is yet until I pull it out. So
Frickin' awesome. All right. Who has made progress on their red abilities?
I think I do.
What category?
So we
first?
have psychic as the first one,
All
and
right.
I have to go, I think, for summoned allies. I mean, I want to go for summoned allies. Use power to create a number of minions equals to like of 6 up to D6 minions equal to your mid die. Choose the one same basic action that they each perform. They all start at the end of the turn.
So let's set the scene, Z. What's going to happen is you're going to create a number of minions that are
Mhm.
D6. So think of
Mhm.
that as their health.
Yes.
So they're going to have 6 health.
hmm
And the number of them is going to be based on your mid die. So
Mhm.
the middle value of that.
Mhm.
And then you have to pick one action. They can attack, overcome, boost, hinder. You'll pick one thing that they
Mhm.
can do.
Well,
So-
they are my lovely assistants for
Mhm.
this for tonight's show. The shadows, or whatever they might
Are
be
you
called.
are you pulling in?
That's what I'm thinking. Pulling in some of those dark forces. I mean, this is red. This is maybe starts to be a little bit out of control. Not sure, but
So are you gonna? Do you think you're gonna actually pull in lurkers out
Oh,
of that
lurkers.
dimension? Because
out of the
that's where.
dimension. Yeah,
Or are there some dark imps or something that are in?
yeah.
that
I'm
mirror?
thinking more along those lines because lurkers. I think we have talked about that they are part of society, so it would feel a little odd pulling these people into a fight suddenly. It's like, well, surprise, you're going to do this. I'm thinking more some other forces from this
Love it.
place that I don't even know what they're going to be necessarily.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yes, I
That'll be
figured
fun.
you're going to enjoy
And
that.
I think that you can really, in the moment when you pull them in, I think that that'll inform their form
Oh,
and will also inform their action.
yeah.
Because the key is like, am I going to create a bunch of attackers? Am I going to create a bunch of boosters, a
Right.
bunch of minions that are going to boost me and my allies, or a bunch of minions that are going to hinder my
Yes.
opponent? Like, huge.
Do they only last for a round or until they are gone or
Until they're
slash-
gone. Yeah,
Okay,
they
gotcha.
have a health. So the
Right,
other
right,
thing
right,
you
right,
could do is you could say they're all going to overcome, right?
Mhm.
Because what's going to happen in battles is you're going to see me throwing things like the car at the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
Right. The kids in the gas canisters that you have
Mhm.
to get them out. There's going to be, as the villains are doing their things, there's
Yeah.
going to be other things you have to take care of during the scene. So I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
All right. So summoned allies.
Yes. And then it is between a few. One of them feels more appropriate to a character like Dan. It's under social qualities. There's heroic sacrifice. When an opponent attacks, you may become the target of that attack and defend by rolling your single red zone die. But the other one that caught my interest is lead by example. Make a basic action using quality. Use your max die. All other heroes who take the same basic action on their turn against the same target receive a boost from your mid-min dies. And I think that one is a lot of fun, especially when we think about, like some, leading by example. It ties in nicely.
What do you think the quality you would use for lead by example?
So since it's qualities, well, I do have leadership. That's
easy.
is the one.
Yep.
And that's the two abilities then.
That's really good. That's really good. Who else has made progress on their reds?
They are hard to pick.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had a moment while everyone was talking. It's like, okay, now I can look.
Well,
Oh God.
Impenetrable defense, was interesting, but
What's that under, Dan?
I've got it under self-control powers.
Okay, let's look at impenetrable defense. Defend using a power. Use your max plus mid dice against all attacks against you until your next turn. That fits the tank, right?
Yeah. But it needs to be a self-control power?
No,
Not
it needs to be a
necessarily.
power.
Oh.
Any kind of power?
Any power.
Nuclear would... Oh, wait.
All right, so let me double check.
Intuition.
These two red abilities. The red abilities are grouped by power and quality category, but not just for your convenience. I lied. You must have a die assigned to a power or quality in a category to use with an ability for that category. So it does have to be tied. So do you have a self-control power?
I have absorption.
So Lou, this might mess you up, buddy.
Yeah,
'cause I
that's
don't know
gonna
if you
mess
have
me
any-
up. Yep.
Yep. All right, we'll
Let's
come
see.
back to you.
Does absorption make sense?
All right, so let's go back. Oh, definitely makes sense.
I have a question.
Yazzie.
For the summoned allies, it says use power to create a number of minions, right? I have two, I think, that fall under that, and it's... Oh no, never mind. Sorry, I just, for whatever reason, teleportation in my mind was like, oh, that's psychics. Like, never mind. That's teleportation.
Mobility.
That's mobility. Yep, never mind.
You good?
Question answered. Thank you so much.
Asked and answered. All right, so absorption, you're thinking for impenetrable defense. I think this puts you in a supernova situation, Dan, where you are just sucking all of the energy out of the entire situation when you use this red ability, which means anything, whether it be kinetic or cold or fire or whatever it is, you just suck it all in. I think absorption totally fits.
And
Got to get that extra energy, right?
And I love the recover health. You get stronger. That's a huge red ability.
Mm-hmm.
What's the second one you were thinking, Dan?
I don't. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, take your time. We'll jump back. Has anybody else made some more progress on their reds?
Yes.
All right, give me a category, Dika.
Okay. Elemental energy powers.
I think you definitely needed to pick up a red there, so that makes sense to me.
Those are
Which
fun.
of those, and as a blaster, which one of those 6 did you pick?
So I picked for this one Eruption because a few of my powers, I take some damage, but I also gave myself some immunity previously for a yellow ability to like kind
Yep.
of, work that out. And I think I'm going to do that with. Oh man.
So let me
'Cause
read it out while you're thinking.
Okay.
Attack up to 3 targets, huge.
Hmm.
One of which must be you,
Mm-hmm.
using your blank power. Assign your mid, and max dice as you choose among these targets. So you're going to roll 3 dice. You're going to assign one of them to you,
Mm-hmm.
the other 2 to 2 other targets. The question is what power gives you kind of this area effect that is going to potentially hurt you?
That's true. So I'm between transmutation or cold.
How are
Hang
you
on.
envisioning your transmutation power?
Transformers.
I'm thinking of like Full Metal Alchemist. Like I'm
Oh.
transmuting what's around me to something else.
Mm-hmm.
But more so in a magical sense instead of like a scientific sense.
Right. So how do you think that would hurt you?
It's taking parts of myself and transmuting it into abilities. Whereas the same thing could happen with weather as well.
Yep. What would drain you? What would hurt you? Weather or cold or
I think
transmutation you can't use. It's not elemental.
that's true. You're right. Weather.
Perfect.
Weather. Yep. Fix itself.
Perfect. Lou,
Oh.
we threw a
So-
whole wrench in all of your ideas. What's your new ideas?
amazingly, mental has final wrath in it also.
Perfect.
Oh.
It
But
is
it's
just
using
not
a
a
quality.
psychic ability. It is a mental ability, which I have chosen mental abilities.
All
So
right. So what quality?
it's
Nurturing.
It. So final wrath is still gadgets, so it doesn't change, right? It's still.
No, it has to fall under that, right? So you have to go.
It-
What mental?
Oh, so it
qualities
has to
have you
fall
picked up?
under my mental quality.
Right. So
So
what
my mental quality
qualities
is
do you have?
conviction. Is conviction.
Okay, so
So-
final wrath. So attack using conviction, which
Yep.
gives you a ton of. I mean, that's very
I
broad,
got
right?
you. Yep.
All
Yep.
this is saying is that you have to use your conviction die,
Yep. I got you.
right? But you can narrate it as anything. But it's because of your conviction that you're doing this final wrath. I'm totally cool with that.
Okay.
So you're going to attack using conviction.
Yep. So then the only thing I had to change was the second thing. So I took Paragon Feet
Under which one?
under
Okay.
because it's athletic, and I also took athletic, and I have Vitality under my athletic.
All right,
So I'm going
let's
to take
go to
Paragon Feet with
athletic.
Vitality.
A physical, you mean? No, athletic is a
Oh,
power.
I'm sorry. I was able to take an athletic
I think you took a physical quality, right?
physical quality, which was Vitality.
No, that was a power. Vitality is a power. I think that's under athletic powers.
So confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Athletic.
All right. Yep. So vitality. So which athletic power did you pick to use for vitality? Major regeneration, Paragon Feet is what you said. So overcome using vitality in a situation that requires you to be more than humanly capable, like an extreme feat of strength or speed to use your max and min die. Boost all nearby allies with your mid die. So here's what's huge. When we talk about all these challenges, and you guys are going to be super annoyed by this because every time that the scene has an action, I'm going to throw a new bugaboo. Someone else is going to be in danger. Some bomb is about to go off. Some roof is about to collapse, right? In the red situation, you could overcome using your vitality to really almost pick up a new quality, right? With strength or speed or whatever. But on top of that, you also get to boost allies with it. I think that's cool.
So inspire
Yep.
everyone. Excellent.
Love it. All right. Who has not finalized all their red abilities? Who's left? Dika?
Me and Dan.
All right. Talk to me, Dika. What category for your second ability?
All right. So now I have two minds. So I have one for intellectual, which, if I'm correct, that is awareness.
That's your intellectual power. Yep. Which one are
Yes.
you looking at?
I'm looking at. So this is the one I'm between. Give time, which it will hurt another hero, but they will get to take another action.
That's big.
And then for what I'm stuck between is the material powers, which is right under that one.
Yep.
Field of hazards, and that could be my transmutation.
Oh boy, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That seems very powerful.
Yeah, I think I like Fields of Hazards because I think I want more. I think we've been doing a lot of the energy and a lot of the weather stuff. I think I want to see more of your transmutation. So I love Field of Hazards.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, that gives you a nice red ability attack, so it allows you to be offense. We've talked about a lot of defensive, protective red abilities. This allows you as the blaster, which totally makes sense, to explode. Yep. All right, Dan, have you figured out your other ability?
Yeah, I think so. In mental qualities, I think Kenny awareness is very nice. It says overcome using conviction. Use your max and min die. Endure all nearby opponents with your min die.
Same
And
situation. Yep.
You're gonna want to overcome if you need to finish.
Having a red overcome ability is big in this game because when we get to the end of the scene, if the scene ends, when the timer goes out, if you have not beat all the enemies and overcome all of the challenges, you lose that scene.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was thinking.
as we play, you're gonna and I've played this game enough now to know that it's gonna look good at the beginning. During yellow, it's going to look bad. And during yellow, all four of you are like, we're not going to do this. And Craig just gave us a new challenge on top of that. And then when we get into red is when we see everything come together. And you're not going to beat all of them, but it ends up being big. So I love that.
I like tying it with conviction. It feels really good for the character because at its pushed at the limit is either impenetrable defense or canny awareness. So
I like it.
that's it fits. It fits pretty well.
All right, so I'm going to move all of us to step 6, which is retcon. Now, during retcon, you can pick one of these things on this list, or page 112 if you've got the PDF. Now, the obvious one is the last one, which is gain an extra red ability as described, right? So you can pick up a third red ability. But I'm going to warn you that the other ones are not as sexy, but they tend to allow you to bring the character together.
Yeah.
So each of you needs to pick one of these. I'm going to read them out. You can swap any 2 dice with your powers, within your powers. So you can look at your powers and go, you know what? Originally, I made this a big power and this a smaller power, but now that I have really seen this character come together, I think this is a bigger power than the other. So you could swap those dice. That's a big deal. Same thing with qualities. Your second option is to swap any 2 dice among your qualities. So now as the personality and skill sets of your hero has started to come together more, are there qualities that are seen imbalanced? This one is low when it should be high. This one is high when it should be low. Third option, choose a different power or quality used in one of your abilities. So you've been picking green, yellow, and red abilities. You've been assigning, because you were limited at the time, on what qualities and abilities and powers you could use, because only the ones that you had acquired. Now that you look at the breadth of your red, yellow, and your green, yellow, and reds, is there a better quality or a better power to tie that ability to? Do you need a new power? You can pick up a D6 power or quality from any category. So any quality that you think fits, any power that's missing, you can give it a D6. This is also big. increase your red status die by 1 size, maximum 12. So look at your red die and go, that'd be really good if it was 1 higher. And I think all of you are at D10 except for Lou, right?
Mine's a 12, so I'm not picking that.
Yeah. And then the last one, I think, personally, I think is the biggest of all of them. If there's a dissonance when you look at your character, which is look at both of your principles. Does one of them no longer fit? If so, pick one from any category of principles.
That is huge.
It's huge for bringing the character together, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens in this guided process, which is part of what I love about this, is over time, we saw it over these last 2.5 hours, we saw these characters start to form. Now during retcon, we have a chance to go back and go, I thought I was going in this direction, but I ended up going a different direction. Do I need to change a power? Do I need to change a quality? Do I need to pick up a power or quality? Do I need to rethink my principles? Or, you know what? I'm good, so I'm going to pick up another red ability.
Yep.
So I know what I'm doing already.
All right, talk to me, Lou.
I am really enjoying thinking about this incorruptible quality, and I want to make that my best quality.
Love it.
So
what are you swapping?
I'm swapping conviction. I have a D10 in conviction and a D8 in incorruptible. I'm just switching the two. It's not major, but I want that to be my best quality.
Well, and here's the thing, right? So we can talk about mechanics all day long, Lou, right? Mechanically, not a huge difference. But what you're deciding is who is this person, right? Yeah. And what you're saying is, I am above. I'm above corruption. And what I'm really interested to learn about with your character, Lou, is how that ties to this somewhat
shady place,
right? Like, and I'm really, the duality of what's forming here, Lou, is super interesting to me. With
I think everyone assumes because I have money that I'm into wheeling and dealing, and it's not. It's just a convenience for me.
Yeah, and Elric just said something and on top of that, the nurturing personality, and this love and devotion to the team as far as your principles, like.
I almost think the business side of me is there so I can nurture better. So if I have money, I can take care of the team. I can take care of people. I can take care of lurkers. Like, that's my driving force, is that I will be a better nurturer if I have more money.
So the next step after this, before we move past Lou, but I want to tell everybody watching, there's 2 more things that everybody's going to do when we're done here. The first thing that they're going to do is that I've given them a series of bonds. And each of them have been assigned 2 other characters. So, for example, Lou is going to have a bond with Z and a bond with Dan. And Lou has a list of bonds. And that is going to be something that connects Lou's character to Z's character, something that connects Lou's characters to Dan's character. They're going to discuss that, agree on what that bond is. And that's going to super inform the team dynamic. The other thing that they have as homework, aren't you thankful you're not playing because you don't have homework, is I've given them, I think, like 20 questions about their unmasked alter egos. And I want to learn a lot about these characters when they are not superheroes. I think we've learned a lot about who they are as heroes, but I want to learn a lot about them as not superheroes, and that's going to inform things as well. Who else has made a retcon decision? Lou, I'm so in love with your character.
I've just I went ahead and went the red die to a D12.
Nice. So you're at a D12 on your red status die.
It goes up pretty quick. Like, it goes up quite a bit then, from a D6 to a D8 to then a D12.
Beautiful. Dika or Dan, have we made a retcon decision?
Yes. So originally I swore I was going to change either principal. But I think I'm going to stick with what I have, ride it till the wheels fall off, and switch out my invisibility with code. So making code a D8 and invisibility a D6.
That totally makes sense to me. Yep. And what'll be interesting to me, Dika, is whether narratively you tie that invisibility to your weather powers, or whether you truly turn invisible, or do you become impossible to see because you're bending air. Like I think that's really interesting. So the other thing that is sounds like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal, is you've been given generic names for all your abilities. I told you had 2 homework. You have 3 homework. And but this third one doesn't have to be done before play. But I want those abilities to be all renamed at some point so they become yours. Because what's going to happen in play is Lou's going to say, I'm going to do this. So is that ability going to be final? What was your red ability? Final
Wrath.
Is it going to be, are you going to say, Craig, I'm going to do Final Wrath, or is it, I'm going to do something else, right? Like
whatever. Yeah,
I'm going to press the button, right? It could be,
I like that. Press the button. That's
yeah.
great. Press the button.
And it seems like it's not a big deal, but in play, it really makes these abilities very personal, and very tied to the power you chose. So that is going to be something for us to think about. All right, I want to just do a quick reflect here.
Mhm.
So, Dan, I'm going to start with you. So let's do a quick review of what we got going on here. We have got nuclear at D10, absorption at D10. So those are your big things. And intuition is also a D10.
Yep.
Right? So that's your big thing, is your mind, your nuclear powers, and your absorption powers. And you will also have a D6 strength. In qualities, we've got your big thing is conviction, which
Yep.
is so informative on who this character is. We've got imposing, close combat, and beacon as your D8s. And then your 2 weaker qualities are persuasion and science. Good choice.
Well, for the retcon, I picked science.
Oh, I like that. Totally
Well,
fits the
It's
direction.
something someone said in chat, but I like the idea that he's not a dumb brick wall. He's a smart guy. Doesn't necessarily. It's not his role in the team, but he can be smart enough. So the tragic radiation accident, maybe something we can talk about it later. But I think science works.
Oh, I think that's so cool.
Science or technology, but science, I guess.
You've got a ton. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green abilities. You are going to be a big deal at the beginning, which is great. That fits everything that we have. You've got 2 yellows, 2 reds, principle of justice, principle of indestructible. Let's figure out your health real quick. All right. If you got a scrap sheet of paper, are you ready? You're going to add up the following numbers to figure out your health. Start with 8.
Yeah.
And then what is the maximum value of your red status die?
10.
All right, so you're at 18. What's the maximum value of any one of your athletic powers? Do you have any athletic powers or mental
Strength.
qualities?
Oh, mental intuition.
Intuition was a D10, right?
Mental qualities. Yeah, I have conviction at D10.
All right. So that's going to put you at 28.
Ooh.
Now you have a choice. Do you want to just take 4 and make it 32? Or do you want to roll a D8 and take the result?
I'm not usually lucky, but it's tempting. I'm going to roll it.
All right. So it's going to be 28 plus
Yes.
29.
Ah, no.
Oh, that's the
I
dice
should
for
have
you.
known.
All right.
That
So if
can
you
be
go
cruel.
at the very top, if you go to your health, put your max health at 29, then it'll set your levels for your green, your yellow, and your red. So that is Daniel's character. Lou, let's take a look at what you have got going on here. So your big things are strength and presence. Your next, and then everything else is the next level of D8s, which is gadgets, vitality, and signature weaponry, which is our baseball bat. And qualities, we're looking at Incorruptible is your big one. That's your D10. The rest of these are all at D8s, which is incredible. Persuasion, conviction, banter, and imposing. You've got 2 green abilities. We've got 3 yellows, 2 reds, the principle of the team and the principle of the tactician. Let's walk through your health real quick. So you're a D8. What's the maximum value of your red die? It's 12, right?
Yep.
So it's 20. What's the maximum value of any one of your athletic or mental athletic powers or mental qualities?
So
Strength is D10.
is presence, because presence, yeah, so it would be D10.
All right, so that's going to be 30. Are you going to be 34 or 30 plus a die roll?
I'm going to be 38. Correct.
Roll it, baby. 30 plus 3.
33. Okay, I lost one.
All right. Z.
Yes.
I want to talk about my really interesting sorcerer. Your big powers. Holy crap, you have 2 powers at D12? Holy shit. Telepathy and teleportation to D12, a D10 intuition, a D6 agility. In qualities, you have creativity, great quality. And then you've got leadership and captivating. And then at D6, you've got otherworldly mythos. We've got we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 green abilities. You're another first striker. You're right up there at the beginning with Dan.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
3 yellows.
It does make sense to me, and I have some really fun ideas how to make that happen. You know, someone storms in and one starts the show. Somebody has to start the show, right?
I'm the opening. God damn it.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a good
sparkles
quote.
everywhere.
I'm the opening goddamn act. That is beautiful. Anyway,
Principle of
sorry.
the mask, which I think is really interesting with what you've been building up here, Z, with this magician and the accident and everything.
Mhm.
The inner demon, I'm going to have way too much fun with, and I think you will too. Let's
What
talk
I-
about.
Yeah,
Go
what I
ahead.
like about Principle of the Mask, since we did play around, or since it came up, we have the shadow, people, the lurkers, essentially. Me using these abilities potentially can put me in that same camp, right? So I want to keep that potentially secret.
Right. So I think one of the things when you're filling out your alter ego stuff, Z, is making a decision. Is Z our lurker?
That's a good question. I
It
will have
is
to
a
find that out.
really good question. Or is Z not? Did Z potentially not start as a lurker, but because of the accident?
Has to happen somehow, right?
Right. Yeah. So maybe you got pulled permanently into this mirror dimension, and
That would be interesting.
yeah,
That would be
super
interesting because I'm thinking, the idea is like, oh, they are different than us. And it's like, actually, you can become.
Oh my God, that's world changing.
I mean, that's what we're doing here, right? Like,
Yeah.
Or we also talked about us having mirrors on both sides of this dimension.
mhm.
What if you swapped places?
I
with your
mean,
mirror?
teleportation has to work somehow, right?
Oh, that's interesting. What if you and your lurker mirror
Mhm.
switch places?
Oh Lord. Okay.
So there is a mundane version of you in this world right now, and you became the lurker.
Oh no.
All right, so
My
let's
poor
talk
mundane
health.
version.
8 plus the maximum red. So you moved your red to 12, right?
Yes.
So that's 20. What is the maximum value of your athletic or mental?
We're doing the math for the health, right?
Yep. So I need
went
your
ahead
max
and-
die of either an athletic power or a mental quality.
Athletic or mental quality. I think I don't have I guess creativity is a mental quality,
It's a
right?
mental quality.
Well, then it's a D10, yes.
All right. So that puts you at 30.
Mhm.
Now, do you want to be 34 or do you want to be 30 plus a die roll?
I mean, let's have fun, What are the odds that I will also roll a 1, So what did I roll? A
D8.
Yeah.
A D8.
32.
One better.
I like that you have more elf than me.
All right, Dika.
Hello.
All right, let's do your health. So you're at 8. What's your red status die?
A D10.
All right, so you're at 18. Maximum value of any of your athletic powers or mental qualities?
Conviction at a D10.
All right. So that, what did we say? We said 18. That's 28.
Mhm.
We're going to go 32 or 28 plus a die roll.
Now you know I gotta follow the rest of the team.
I honestly, like, I know it's an option in this game, but like at some point, the rest of the table is going to call you a coward if you just take the
Yeah.
four.
Yeah. Like, so
Please let it be a
So
3.
Show us. See, there you go.
Wow, nice.
34. I think, does that put Deacon with the
That's
highest health?
Yeah.
that's
I had
good.
thir-
I do a lot of
At
sacrificial
33.
things.
So
Our former
That's
villain
fair.
with the highest health. All right. So when we come back in 2 weeks,
Well,
a
she's
lot is
old.
going to happen behind the scenes. We're going to have character names. We're going to have like a physical understanding of what our characters look like as heroes. But more importantly, I'm going to understand the bonds that these heroes have with each other. And then I'm going to have a lot of juice about what their alter egos are like. But our 4 are defenders of the furnace, which is a very kind of forgotten district in our city. It is poor. It is the victim of corruption. And these 4 defenders have stood up as the neighborhood watch to defend the furnace in New Eden from all threats coming from the outside. We don't have a team name yet. We've got a lot's going to happen. So when you watch issue number 1, we are going to see some fully fledged characters that have come out of this. This was cool.
Yeah.
This was really, really cool. And I think the
It's a lot of
coolest
fun.
thing about this process is the 4 of you, I think, ended up with heroes you would not have made on your own.
No, absolutely not.
But I think we found heroes that fit with each other and that I think each of you are going to be able to sink your teeth into, which I think is super cool. So we're going to go to credits and then we're going to head out. Thanks
Sounds
all.
good.
Howdy friends, thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.